Hit the thumbs button. Come on in here, y'all. I'm setting up the show. Give me a second. How everybody doing? Come in here, wipe y'all feet off. Hit that like button. We back. Give me a second. Yeah, y'all. We back. We back. I hope everybody was having a good day. Let's get it started. Like the show. Let's get it started.
Heat Rock 410. What it is though. Take y'all on a journey. Notorious is glorious, victorious. Yeah, yo. I ain't asking for a friend, I need to know myself. And if you never ask, how would you know yourself? It's crazy how your parents know you more than you know yourself. Growth is good, it's important just to know your wealth. Don't let them take advantage like niggas who speak Spanish and you don't speak a lick of it. The game will make you trip a bit. Street money is cool till you get sick of it. And all that bullshit that come along with it. Make sure you stay on your square and keep a strong pivot. Cause them cruddy buddies, they'll do you ugly. And why every female favorite question is, do you love me? And if you knew better, baby, you would do better. And once you know better, you would show better. Most men want a housewife, but me, I love a go-getter. Your ex pussy wet, but that new pussy be so wetter. No lies detected, just get high and accept it. Go ahead, talk to him, y'all ain't beefing like that. Come on, Doug, why you being like that? Man, let's keep it a stack. Why you say it if you ain't mean it like that? And when you say him, you ain't give him no rap. Man, let's keep it a stack. You ain't gotta say you gon' be right back. Stop bluffing, shorty, keep it a stack. Once you start something, you can't just leave it like that. Finish the job, homie, keep it a stack. When I was coke dealing, the rules was no squealing, no stealing from your mans and no feelings. For these hoes, that's just gonna mess up the guap. 10 toes down whenever you on your block, or even when you ain't. Don't know them from a can of paint. Just be loyal and trustworthy. You ain't gotta be a saint. A lot of y'all be geeking, backstabbing and sneaking. Nose clean during the week, but they dabble on weekends. Oh nigga, I be beeping. Your niggas might be sleeping, but I was trained to tread water in the deep end. Jellyfish sting, but them sharks will bite your head off. Run up on you while you park, get the dumping, then they slid off. The hood know who did it. Now let's see if your homies with it, or your name die in vain, cause one of like a ceiling fan. Go ahead, talk to him, y'all ain't beefing like that. Come on, Doug, why you being like that? Let's keep it a stack. Why you say it if you ain't mean it like that? And when you see him, you ain't give him no rap. But let's keep it a stack. You ain't gotta tell me you gon' be right back. Stop bluffing, shorty, keep it a stack. And once you start something, can't just leave it like that. Finish the job, homie, keep it a stack. While I'm still rapping at 40, well, let's chat about it. First of all, my life's amazing. Let's get that about it. Wife is blazing, and her kids get the life savings. Follow the drip, nigga, my ice glazing. Yo, FSO, in the best that flow. Bars, storytelling, visuals, cadence, and concepts. Content, impact, yeah, the boxes is all checked. I just need that one song, yeah, that one song. And I could clutch the earth with just one palm. Never inches, look in my eyes, I'm dumb calm. They either gon' walk with you, or you gon' run for them. Either way, you gon' have to let your heater spray. Lose yourself, might even have to put that weed away. Now that's a lotto, that's my medication. Gotta stay high, yo, till a nigga die, yo. Album out now, hit the link in my bio. Go ahead, talk to him, yo.
All right, y'all. All right, I'm here. I had to set up the show, get the Zoom, everything together. And I was reading my Twitter feed. On Twitter, it was it's going crazy right now, and it's saying the guy Kevin Samuels passed away. But it's unconfirmed. And say that again. On Twitter, they're saying Kevin Samuels passed away, but it is unconfirmed on Twitter so far. I hope that's a rumor. I hope that's a rumor. I hope the brother ain't passed away. I mean, I'm not a fan of his content, but I still hope the brother ain't died early. He was only 56 years old. So I hope that's just a rumor. Again, I'm not a fan of his content, but I hope the brother was young and he was starting to take off. So, you know, at 56 years old, I hope he didn't pass away. But anywho, how's everybody doing? I want to get into this topic. You know, do African Americans have an identity crisis? You know, when you look through the different channels on YouTube, you know, we're claiming so many different identities or heritages, so to say. We are the Nation of Islam. What's that? You know, you got the group saying that we're that we're the Asiatic black man from the tribe of Shabazz, coming out of Arabia, Mecca. That's the Nation of Islam. Then you have the Moorish Science Temple of America. They claim that we're Asiatics also, and we originated somewhere around Mecca or Medina, and then went into Africa, and Morocco, and all of that. Then you have the Hebrew Israelites that also claim that we are from the Arabian Peninsula. So I guess they're saying that we're Asiatics also, coming from Israel, and then moving into Africa, the same as the Moorish Science Temple and the Nation of Islam states that we come from the Arabian Peninsula and moved into Africa and then was sold into slavery. So those three groups all are putting us as originating in the Arabian Peninsula, and then subsequently moving into Africa, and then being sold or captured into slavery and sold across the Atlantic. That's our origin and how we got here. Then you have other groups, the Aborigines or the Abos that we're calling them nowadays. And they are saying that we are the Aboriginal inhabitants of the Americas and the Caribbean. All right? And that we always been here, and it's doing us a disservice to claim Africa. By claiming Africa, we're giving up our birthright as indigenous Americans and the rightful heirs to the land that we live on right now. So that's the Aborigines. So those four main, factions, are all claiming that, one, the African American is first not indigenous to Africa. So the misnomer of them being African, the name African is a misnomer on us, according to those four different groups, or if you follow their ideologies. And for me, that's, I'm asking the question, do we have an identity crisis? Or is any of those groups correct? Or is there any validity to any of their claims? That's what I want to talk about tonight on the Pseudo Killers. So first off, I'm going to get a panel up here and we're going to get it in. But first off, let's go. Venice, what it do? Flav, what's happening? Vayasa, what's up? Omar, bat. Pan-African Designs and Apparel. What it do? Pan-African? He said identity ain't the problem, ignorance is. Yeah, that goes hand in hand. I can agree. I can agree with that. James Powell, what's up, James? Six Finger, what up? Rock City, New York, what it do? Damar, what up? Amir Black and Gozy, what it do? Charles Goodwin, what's up? Hey Charles, I gotta get on the server. On the server, man. I need y'all to hold me down on there and keep it alive until I get my phone up and running and get on there. But I'm definitely coming. Thunder, what's up, Thunder? OG Fishburne, what's up? Anthony Bowman, get that telescope out. They say that James Webb is doing a hell of a job up there right now. I think is in the right position to starting to send back some amazing photographs right now. It's crazy. Nomadic, what it do? S. Rush, what's up? Weo by Dazali, what's going on? My name is Tika, what it do, Tika? Your birthday coming up, Tika? Happy birthday. You know what I mean? You look every bit of 22 years old and many more. When your birthday? Put it in the chat. Nomadic said, as an African Canadian, I would say, yeah, all claim everything but West Africa, which is where majority came from. I agree with that statement, Nomadic. So we definitely gonna get into it. Purple Glitter, what it do? Mongo, what's up? What's up? Vision the Elohim, long time no see. Clumsy Chemist, what it do? Khalil Sadiq, what's up? All right. Yeah, so let me see where my panel at. Daquan, what it do? Waco, Texas. No more sleeping. All right. Everybody in here. Everybody in here. Everybody in here. Let me see. Let me take my securities off. Boom. Share screen. Bam. All right. So yeah, those are the four main factions that have a claim that goes against the traditional historical account of the origin of the African American. Okay? I'm going to state it again. You have the Nation of Islam, right? That claims that we're an Asiatic black man that comes out of the Arabian Peninsula and settled in Africa. You have the Moorish Science Temple that claims the same history. I think the Moorish Science Temple made the claim before the Nation of Islam. I think the Moorish Science Temple is, I think around a decade or something before the Nation of Islam. I think the Nation of Islam is around 1932 or 33. And I think the Moorish Science Temple of America is around 1914 or the 1920s to be exact. But I think the earliest attestation to them in their literature says 1914. But I think the most substantial records of them come from the 1920s. They claim 1914 as their origin, but you don't start to see anything with them in it until around the 1920s. So either way, I think they predate the Nation of Islam. So either they, but they were damn near contemporaries. And they both claimed that we come out of the Arabian Peninsula and then moved into Africa and was then subsequently caught up and sold into the transatlantic slave trade. Then you have the Hebrew Israelites. I think their origin is around the, I think somewhere in the 1960s, right? And they claim the same thing, that we come out of the Arabian Peninsula, Israel, the Levant, moved into Africa, and then was subsequently sold into slavery. And then we have the new group, the Aborigines. I don't know if they're a codified group. It's just a collective of people who hold that belief system, right? That we are Aboriginals, or the original inhabitants of this Western hemisphere. So, it goes against the traditional history, right? That most of the world understands about the origin of the African and the Western hemisphere, right? Or for that matter, if you don't want to call yourself African, or the people that don't want to call themselves African, who don't agree with that, whatever word we can agree, black man, negroid, negro, whatever you want to call yourself, the descendants of slaves, whatever that is. Hold on, y'all. My dog is acting crazy. Let me put him out this room. My bad, y'all. I'm back. Not the Doug. The dog. You know, I got the Baltimore accent. I'm working on it. Coffee then got cold. But yeah. So, oh man. Yeah, so that's that's what most people believe, that's where our identity crisis come from. All right, so let's get it in. And my question was, do any of those groups have any valid, is there anything valid about any of the claims that they're making? We heard the I gave a brief synopsis to the four biggest claims that's being made. Three of the claims are basically the same. Come on, man. The Moorish Science Temple, the MSTA, the Nation of Islam, the NOI, and the Hebrew Israelites all are making the same claim. Okay? They differ according to their ideology, but they're all stating that we come from the Arabian Peninsula, right? And so that's our origin. Then we move into Africa, right? And then we're caught into the trans-Saharan slave trade. The Aborigines, so all three of those groups are still acknowledging that where we were taken from was Africa. The Aborigine, or the Abos that we like to call them, their claim is a little different. Their claim is that we wasn't caught up in the transatlantic slave trade because we didn't come from Africa. We was already here. We are the Aborigine or the Native American. So, do any of them have any validity? Is there anything that's believable about any of their claims? Is any of their claims historically accurate? Can anything that they say be backed up by the historical record or by the scientific process of historical anthropology? Let's look into it. I'm going to put out the link and we're going to discuss it. Let me grab my link right here. Invite. And if we have any Nation of Islam or anybody that follows the Moorish Science Temple or the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, or if any Abos is in here, I would love for y'all to come in and join the discussion. Khalil Sadiq said you first have to define an African. Well, what you mean, Khalil? So you say you first have to define an African. You don't think African is defined in the name African? Like, so you would have to define an Asian? You know, the fact that we call them an Asian is the definition. Like, that would be, like, let's not make it more complicated. You know, that part is simple. As Rush said, if their family was owned by an Indian family, then it's possible that blacks and natives mixed. I agree. I agree with that. You know, we mix with Native Americans, we mix with white people. It still doesn't make that our origin. That's just mixture from our circumstance. You feel me? Yeah, that's just mixture. That's not that's not the origin of our group, right? Or our yeah, that wouldn't be, you know, the origin of our group. That would be, you know, a circumstance of what happened to the group while they, you know, while they were here, the mixing with Native Americans and the white people. You know what I mean? That's if the, you know, that still wouldn't, you know, make you Native American. It's going off. That would, yeah, that still wouldn't make you Native American. All right, it says because they all use phenotype to define African descent. So, all right, so Khalil, you think that African Americans are using phenotype to define African descent? Hey, y'all definitely can click the link and come up here and explain it. I don't want to butcher nobody's standpoint. You know how I do. I run an open panel. You know what I mean? Okay, Visionary Elohim, I agree with that. You know, but one thing you said is hard. But how hard is it if you said that we were taken from Africa? So the African part is intact, even in your statement. Now, what specific tribe or ethnic group, you know, we come from, I think that's all jumbled up. Once they put us on those boats, we started mixing with other tribes, you know, and ethnic groups. So that part, you know, no, we'll never get a solid, you know, on the specific ethnic group or tribe that we come from. We a combination. I like what Amir Ngozi says, that we are Creole, right? You know, we're a combination of West and Central Africans. All of those groups that were caught up together. Once they put you on those plantations, right, in Jamaica, and then Puerto Rico, and then Cuba, right, before they moved us up here to America, they didn't care what tribe or, you know, whatever where you came from. Y'all was all slaves, right? So they mated you whatever slave. They didn't care, you know, they wasn't trying to match you up or mate you with people who you came from the same tribe or ethnic group as. You know, the slave master could care less about that. He was trying to produce a product, right? So now one ethnic group or might show up larger in your DNA, but that don't necessarily make you them, right? Unc can explain that a little bit better. Him or Ngozi, they do a real good job at that. Real talk. All right, Nomadic said I come on, but I don't want to get called out for my random comments. Y'all funny as hell. Said real talk. You helped create America. All right, we got my man James about to come in here. Boom. RL, what's up? What's up? All right, let me switch to my screen. Let me switch to my interview screen. I made this screen just the interview. Y'all, let me put a title up here. James, what's up, James?
Okay. What's happening, Chef?
Ain't nothing. What's the deal?
Well, I saw you asking everybody come up and holler at you, express themselves,
Definitely.
let you know how they feel about the topic that you just brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw no movement, so I thought I'd come up and sit with you for a few until they got up the nerve, man.
Oh, that's what's up, my man. My man. So what you think? What's your take on it? On the identity crisis?
Well, like I've already texted in the chat, I think the biggest problem is the way that we were brought over here to the Americas and all the other different areas. We were snatched out of our environment. We couldn't know where we came from, so we still confused about that. And that's the biggest problem. So it's like a big guess where we're from, unless this new DNA thing with Ancestry.com, and I don't know how for real that is, but I've dealt with Ancestry.com, and they say my people, I come from the Nigeria area.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think it's mainly a guess for us, or a wannabe. I was just talking to somebody in the chat about Egypt, and I thought it was more popular, and somebody texted that Wakanda was the most popular or something like that. But I think Egypt gets so much attention because of all of its accomplishments. Supposedly in which Africa is the origination of everything, since they found the oldest bones there. But you look at a lot of the past people that came from there, what history talks about. And you can see all those accomplishments still going on all over the world. So Africa is a total origination to me. That's the way I see it.
Okay. I pretty much agree with that. With that standpoint. So yours said, basically West African, right? Your
Right.
DNA. Now most abos don't agree with the DNA. So do you agree with DNA science?
I just checked it out mainly, man. I saw that everybody was doing. I know. I heard about the 23andMe, in which probably I'm going to check some of the other ones out, because some of the other ones give you a more, deeper look at what went on and who you might be. So I can't say I totally agree with it, but it's something to have an open mind about and just to investigate anyway. I've heard some people say that, they told me about some of my people and hooked me up with them and said that these were my cousins. How in the world did they know that? That's something to think about. They don't know my cousins and my family, and they just put their names right in there next to me. So, just listening to people talk like that, man, it could be some truth to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be the main thing right there. Let me get this out of here. Hold on, let me get my man Vision the Elohim in here. We definitely need a Hebrew Israelite or somebody, that share those beliefs to come in here. But yeah, most people I know who did it, they found other family members. So it does have some type of truth to it.
Oh yeah, I bumped into my nephew
Mm-hmm.
uh, on Ancestry.com, as a matter of fact, and he just called me right out, Uncle James, what you doing on here? I said, well, I'm just trying to check things out and then see how far I can go back to look into our African ancestry. And you know how us black folks is, and not just us black folks. It's pretty much abroad happening now. You know, back in my day, in which I got a little time on me, but like I told Smash when I got on his show and talked with him a little bit, you know, I'm old school,
Mm-hmm.
and and I remember the song back in the day. Temptations made Papa was a Rolling Stone, and that's how it was with most of us, and even today that continues. So I was kind of just looking back to see where maybe some of my folks, my dad's family, and if I could
Well,
find anything.
let me
Go
ask you
ahead.
that. Let me ask you this. In what decade did you go to school in? You would say.
Well, I graduated back in the day about the early 70s, 2 and 3, 72, 73, right in there.
Okay, so you grew up in the '60s.
Right.
Okay, you grew up in the '60s. So did you ever hear that we was Aborigines, or that we were always here? Did you ever hear that growing up, or is this something that you heard after, like, recently? Go ahead.
It's been recent.
It's been
It's
recent then.
yeah, it's been pretty recent, Chef.
Mhm.
I heard I heard nothing like that as I was coming up, even in my adolescent stages, high school stages. We didn't really talk that much about it because I remember back in the day, I always had, just like I told Smash, I always had that attitude where I was kind of militant like, and I knew something was wrong. You know, I could just tell. You know, I remember. I mean, we'd go uptown on the weekends, you know, and we got a chance to go to the movie theaters and stuff like that. But it only happened on the weekends, and man, it was kind of confusing to me. But they say, uh, "Don't drink out of that water fountain." And when we watch the movies, we go upstairs. I mean, they were teaching me what it was all about, but I wouldn't quite, you know, I didn't quite understand it, but I was learning it.
Mhm.
But I never heard anything about Aborigines, and they, you know, my grandma, they never talked anything about that. And uh, I was directed and guided towards. I know the Muslims was always around, but I was guided and directed towards Martin Luther King. And
Mhm.
I believe that reason was because my grandma, she was the head of the usher board. And in her house, you gonna get up and go to church every Sunday, you know what I mean? And that was
Yeah.
our guiding light. And it was just our crutch to lean on, in which that's the way I understand it now. And it did us good because it was a good direction and a good crutch to help us stay on track and stay out of trouble because I'm gonna just right out tell you my age, in which I'm 68 years old, but I've never been to jail a day in my life. Not saying I shouldn't, because I lived down in Miami
Right.
about 30 years, and man, living down there ain't nothing easy to that, you know.
Mhm.
So, nah, we didn't hear nothing about Aboriginals back in that day, and like we were, you know, we were born here, we were always here. Never heard anything about that, no. But I knew that my grandma told me this. She said, "Yeah, you know, we are connected with the Indians, and I'm here in Florida, up in the Panhandle, and I know Florida State in the Tallahassee area. They
Definitely.
really they talk about those
The
Seminoles, and
Seminoles, yeah,
I
definitely.
yeah, I
Mhm.
believe we were associated. I think she said we were associated with the Blackfoot or something like that. You know, I don't know which clan it was of Indian, but she did say that we had some tie to the Indians also.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact in Florida. We not even gonna play that game. We know that.
Right.
Down in Florida, Georgia and Florida, definitely have a strong history of the slaves being integrated into the Native American culture. I think the first city in North America was what's the name of that city? Saint is it Saint Augustus? No,
Saint Augustine.
Saint Augustine, right? And that was
Yeah,
a settlement of the Spanish that
that's right.
integrated the Native American and the African American, into the establishment of that city. So, and then, the Florida Everglades, the communities
Way
of
down
runaway
south.
slaves, yeah. The community of runaway slaves that, was able to set up, their own little towns and villages in the Florida Everglades, and then hooking up with the Native Americans that was at war with the colonial Americans. They fought together and they lived together. So that's definitely a bit. Now a vision. What's up, Visionary Elohim? We got Visionary Elohim in here. We got my man Mr. Rich, and we got Ngozi Amir. What's going on
Peace,
with
peace,
y'all?
peace.
Everybody jump in the
What up?
conversation.
Peace,
I'll
peace, peace.
step. I,
Peace,
I'll
peace.
step back. I'll step back and let y'all go ahead. I'll just listen. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to build on my people in South Carolina because we're the Gullah people,
Mm-hmm.
and we trace our roots back to West Africa around Sierra Leone area. So that's where I trace my roots, basically.
Okay.
I tell you this, you know, them natives wasn't no good to Africans. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones like the five civilized tribes, when some of the Africans was running away, they turned around and enslaved you as well.
Facts.
So I mean, it's semi good relationships, and there's a lot of bad relationships. You know what I'm saying? I believe that the base for all African Americans, well, I know for a fact, if you from Baltimore, New York City, Jersey, you know what I'm saying? Most of those Africans came from North Carolina.
Facts.
And my brother right here, and the origin for African Americans is Carolina and Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
period. So my brother right here, that's Gullah, he know that the people next to the Carolina Islands who still keep the culture and customs,
Mhm.
most of those people in Carolina is mainland Gullah. Most African Americans is Gullah, even if they don't understand the language anymore. We have our own, like we have a culture, we have an ethnicity. We're not Moors, we're not Hebrews, we're not even Yoruba no more, even though we descend from Yoruba and Igbo and all those different ethnic groups. We are New World African American Creole people. The Gullah is the foundation of us, even though a lot of us don't understand the Gullah language anymore, but we got our own vernacular of English now. And if you get into linguistics, they call it AAVE, African American Vernacular English. So people, it's 41 million of us today, or 40 million of us. We are our own ethnic group within America. So our nationality is American. Our ethnicity is African American. You know what I'm saying? But our nationality, regardless to where we go, will be labeled as American because that's where we were born. This is who we are. It was
Mm-hmm.
West and Central Africans that helped build and mold America, especially in the South. The New World America that was established in 1776 when New World America was formed. It was African blood and African structure that put in work to help build this country. So as a nationality, we are definitely American, but ethnically, we are mainly West and Central Africans. That's what we are. We're mainly West and Central Africans. We descend from those people. Are we the Yoruba today? No, we're not. That ethnic group is blurred out. The Yoruba mixed with the Igbo mixed with the Akan, the Mandinka. On a rice farm, they had on a rice field, they had Mandinka. They had people from Cameroon. All that stuff been slapped together. The average African American come from at least 13 regions in West and Central Africa. So we're a creolized people. Not to denounce the Northwestern European component. How many of us running around here with Irish in our blood or British? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And some of us do got Native American components. 30% of us, or 40% of African American men, is paternally haplogroup R, but could be autosomally highly African. So what I'm saying is we are Creole people. I call us Nuwak, New World African American Creole. That's how I identify. My father's side of the family come from the Carolinas. His mother came from New Orleans. His father was from the Caribbean. Yet and still we're slapped as African American now. My mother is a continental African, but I haven't grew up in that culture. Ethnically, I grew up African American. So I identify as Newark, New World African American Creole. That's it. That's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right on.
That
Hey,
shit dope.
yeah, that was dope. Hey, Mr. Rich, where you at? What, you working?
Hey, what's going on, man? Peace to the panel. I'm just listening. I'm just waiting for some eyeballs to come on there because I can't believe we still talking about DNA. That's not real. I can't believe we still doing that.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, like I said, I think those four groups within the African American collective group, I think they pose the biggest contention to us being to what mainstream history says about us. Again, the Moorish Science Temple, the Nation of Islam, the Hebrew Israelites, and these new Aborigines, they all have a counter to what mainstream history says, our origin and our who we are as a people. They have a counter to it. The first three says we come out of the Arabian Peninsula, settling that moved into Africa and then was caught into the transatlantic slave trade. And the last group, the Aborigines, say we were the original inhabitants of the Western Hemisphere. So, with everybody, I think they cause confusion personally. But I want to keep an open mind if they come on if any of them click on the panel so we can have the discussion and see if they have information that can back up their claims. But yeah, that's where we at. I think most of us on here agree, that's on the panel now, that our origin is Africa and that basically we are African people. Yeah, so
I have.
So,
go ahead.
hey, chef, maybe we looking at it wrong. So, this identity crisis, I'm saying, let's look at it as the symptom of a problem.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we know what the problem is. How we've been brainwashed since we was kids about, what black is. So think about all that brainwashing for years and years, man. This shit has been like niggas really kind of primed to feel that way and to search for something else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Definitely. We've been
so,
taught all the whole life, yeah.
So you are of the opinion that the negative stereotypes heaped on the continent of Africa and African people is one of the main reasons why these groups make these claims, because they're
No, it ain't the African people. It's the system we live in. If you're in America, well, I mean, everybody think that kind of everywhere you go. But in America, you know what I'm saying, the identity crisis comes from that. That's like the foundation.
Is it because of the negative stereotype of Africa that make African people that's in America shy away from it or make another claim of their identity? Or is it just ignorance of history? Or is it a combination of both? Go ahead, Amir.
Well, I mean, the ignorance comes from a plan, you know what I mean, as far as they keep us disenfranchised. So it ain't happening by chance, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That set the foundation, not only Africans in Africa, but fucking black people here in America, you know what I mean, with the stereotypes. So they brainwash us this shit, you know what I mean, as kids, very pervasive. And this is what happens, identity crisis. Should I have one? Go ahead.
I like, okay. This is something I'm thinking about. You right on, young man. But I think, like you said, the programming part started way back. You know, as they got them correct on the plantations, you know, the women folks, you know, they scared them to death, you know, when they started messing with their husband or their men folk. And then they were selling off their kids. You know, I watched Roots as I was coming up as a kid. I mean, when it originally came out, man, it was a lot of fighting and stuff going on in the schools back then because of what Root was all about and what we were learning. But I think they programmed our adults, in which, you know, a lot of the youngsters today look down on us, you know, because of our attitudes and the way that we've been shaped and molded. But that white man, you already know it as youngsters, all of y'all. He is a character, man. And he had his ways of getting our people, which were probably my grand and my great grandparents, to do like he wanted them to do, if it was through persuading them, through by letting them have nicer things, or letting them live close to the big house, or whatever way he did it. Some of them got whipped, but he programmed them to make everybody fall in line and do like he said. And I think that's how our women and the great separation, it's just my opinion, but the great separation is here right now between the black man and his woman. He took the woman and he got her, he put her up front in front of the man, because he really right out disrespected the man. This is just my opinion, because, hey, he's saying, we conquered y'all, man. Y'all ain't shit. You know, excuse my language now. I'm getting a little out of line, because it's in me too to be that way. I hear y'all go through the cursing mode all the time, but like I say, I was brought up in the church, but I ain't no good boy. Now, don't get me wrong. I lived down in Miami 30-some years, so I know the streets. I came up on, I lived on the corner. I drank wine,
Right.
Thunderbird, MD 2020. I did all of that. So I think back to what I was saying, though, is they programmed our women, put them in front of the man, put pressure on the woman to program those kids. Like you hear them say back in the day, I used to hear it all the time. All right, boy, you better be good and do right. You don't want the man coming in here. You don't want the man getting on you. And the man was the police or that white man. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That was the man. And the black man, they called you boy. Hey, boy this and boy that. But it's about like my man was saying right there. It's a program thing, and the program constantly is going on.
Hey, check this out. Hey, check this
Appreciate
out.
that,
I'm saying
Albert.
last thing real quick.
Go ahead, Mr. Ricks.
Yo, so we are the product of what? People that came from the plantation, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So on the plantation, think about being born on the plantation, right? You know what I'm saying? You look at all this shit, you know, it's like everything is right. You know, you can have a slave come off the ship, and you got a lady who's been born on the plantation. And he, you know what I'm saying, he come, he meet her, you know what I mean? He start dating, and he's like, yo, I can make this poison, go ahead and put it in the master's food. You know what I mean? Since she's been there for so long, her mindset is different. Like, yo, I'm not trying to put, you know what I'm saying, food in the master's food, whatever, you know, all that bullshit.
Mhm.
So it's not gonna get done. So after years and years, we the product of this shit. Now, I'm saying one key important fact in that movie is when Homeboy was getting whipped, Kunta.
Mm-hmm.
And they was beating him and it says Kunta until he said Toby. Toby's that American dude. So they want you to forget everything about Africa, right?
Mm.
So we the product of the people on the plantation being taught to forget everything about being African. And people in the South, we didn't grow up with parents who was kind of, you know, progressive, telling you that black shit.
Yeah, that's, man,
You know what I'm saying?
that's deep. Shout out to Alex Haley. I said shout out to Alex Haley for even you know, writing Roots and making it.
Word.
I think that shed light on I think that was the first film, you know, that properly, you know, put slavery into its context. You know what I mean? Of the psychological, you know, trauma that actually happened to black people. Like, so shout out to Alex Haley for even now it was controversy around that the book and the series. So whether it's accurate, you know, or not, you know what I mean, it helped frame slavery correctly for us. Like, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Whether the story was true or not, because he was actually sued for plagiarization from a guy who wrote a book called The African. A white man wrote a book called The African, and he actually sued Alex Haley
Wow.
for plagiarization, right? But for me, it doesn't take away from, the visual concept that Alex Haley was able to give us about slavery, and the mental torture, that we was under. So I definitely give him credit for that, but I don't think there's been contention since before the movie came out, before the miniseries came out. I think ABC had to pay the white man who wrote the book, The African, over $1 million, right? Because he won the lawsuit. So they had to pay him over $1 million because it was plagiarized. But, just the visuals of it, you know what I mean? The kunta and all of that, that's skeptical, you know what I mean? But, to see what people actually went through, during the transatlantic slave trade and how you break a slave, and man, that movie still, you know what I mean, is it still can get you when you watch it even nowadays. And for my parents who talk about the first time they seen it, right, as young adults, right, how it had an effect on them. And then when I was growing up in the late 80s, right, it still had that same type of effect on me. That movie, right, they used to play that during Black History Month, right? They would play Roots, right? And they would play Shaka Zulu. Those two movies, right? I still, if I'm surfing the cable networks and I see any one of those movies on, I stop and I watch them, even to this day. Just the visuals of Shaka Zulu, the music, everything about it was just epic to me. You feel me? But yeah, Roots, definitely, man, just the visuals of Kunta being broke, and that's the African American. That I feel you on that, Mr. Rich. Go ahead, y'all.
Well, you're right, Chef. You're right. Hey, it was a good teaching tool, I think. And I feel like that movie, both of them, like you said too, Shaka, how he rounded up. I've seen the movie about like you a couple of times. Like I said, I'm that type of renegade. I want to know about what went on, not just right now, because I know what's going on now, and even back 40 or 50 years ago, I know what went on then. But I wanted to always know what happened way back before we were even thought of. And like I was saying, I think those two movies should be used right now today as a learning tool for our kids in the future after we dead and gone, man.
Facts.
Because
Facts.
If not, they're gonna get crossed up like my man here, the one Mr. Rich, I believe it was. I'm not saying he's confused, but he seems like he's a little aggravated by what's going on and what has went on. But I think once we come to the knowledge of knowing what has went on, and then we got to come together as a people. That's just my opinion. If we're going to be able to compete with all these other nationalities and races, and we got to learn how to get along. Once we learn how to do that, and then start working together as a group and a whole, we'll start to progress, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. And, just the visuals of Shaka Zulu, right? Controlling the African empire and going up against the British, right? I think that was the first time we seen, Africans in that capacity, so it was the first time we was able to get pride, right? Have pride in Africans, seeing him, the way that he stirred down the colonial Europeans, right? Even his take on them, just how he felt as though he was their king, right? Like it showed something, you know what I mean? Shaka felt as though he was superior to the colonial white man, you know what I mean? His thinking, just to see how the African actually seen himself in his power, right? He didn't see himself as, how we seen ourselves as being subservient, right, to white people. He felt as though he was, their king. It was one part of the movie where he was explaining, how was he saying it? The Amazulu, he was explaining to the white man, that was writing back to the king or wherever, I think England or whatever.
England, yeah.
Yeah, he was explaining to him that, that his people was from heaven, right? He was saying that, the sky god, gave us our power, and you dig what I'm saying? Like it was nuts, man. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't get him with the Christianity. He felt as though the sky god gave them the power, and they direct descendants from the. It was something he was saying to him, like we the Amazulu. You know what I mean? And I think that meant that they was like from the heavens or some shit. Like it's crazy, man. It was the first, but I watch it every time I look at it. Yo, that's dope movie.
And I think every time you watch it anew, you're gonna get a better understanding, and you're gonna learn something newer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and what did Shaka do first? The first thing he did was he went out and started getting all of the different villages and tribes. He would try to sit down and talk to them first. But if they didn't want to act right, what did he do? He already had the best fighting army in Africa. Well, them Zulus didn't play. They were about like the Magi, I would believe. What would he do? He really take advantage and just take control of that tribe and say, look here, man, y'all got to get on the bus. Y'all got to get in line because we got a lot of work to do dealing with this white man. And he rounded up and he got everybody together. And once they became a force, a powerful force, then he was able to deal with them colonials. And that's how it is with us today. We got to be the same way. We can't beat them physically. Don't get me wrong. We can't beat them physically. But once it's all about a mental game now. If you look at this internet, the way I look at it, this stuff we doing now, man, ain't nowhere in the world I would have thought that this would happen or could happen. We had the rotary phones. We had the phone booths. We had all that. The push button came next. But look what's going on now. You walking around with your phone, man. You put your phone in your pocket. We don't even have a phone in the house now.
Yeah, that's
because of just the way that things are today, how they progress, And that's what Shaka did. He brought everybody together, man. And that's what we got to do. Just go by, take his lead. That's what I would do. And we need to take leads from all of the strong leaders that was out there, not just Shaka. There's other ones that was out there. Malcolm, Martin had his way too. The stuff that he did. Martin used to sit down. He found out later that, hey, they sucker playing me, We in a burning house here, and they fooling me to bring my people in to let me get out of here. But Malcolm was a thug. The Muslims didn't play, but they still stayed within the rules and regulations. And that's the way it's got to be done today, man, because we can't beat them physically.
Now, all right, I'm glad you brought up Malcolm X, because he was a part of the Nation of Islam, right? And the Nation of Islam, right, teaches that, the black man, right, comes from Arabia, right? And he settled in Africa and he was under that first paradigm that I was talking about, and it was confusion. But it doesn't seem like it was a hindrance for him to understand, his connection to Africa, right? So even with him, to piggyback to play devil's advocate, for my stance that, the Nation of Islam is about confusion, when they teach those that history that doesn't conform to the mainstream history about the origin of the African American. So since they teach that, we see Malcolm X, it doesn't seem like that was a hindrance for Malcolm X. It don't even seem like it's a hindrance for Farrakhan, actually. But when you talk to Nation of Islam members on the streets, right, it seemed like it's a hindrance, to them in conversations about history. I feel like they have that block, with that. But I think that's only in a historical argument. I think they all recognize that whether they originated in Africa or not, that they are still African people and are the same or have a commonality with Africa at large. Anyway, so I don't think, I'm glad you said that, because I don't think that piece of them being, that they say that they originated in in Asia. I don't think that that's a hindrance for them connecting with Africa and African people, period. You dig what I'm saying? And the Moore Science Temple, I don't see that piece being a hindrance to them. I think the biggest group, the two groups that I've seen be anti-African the most have been certain Hebrew Israelites. I said certain Hebrew Israelites and the Abos for sure. What y'all think about that?
Well, I think since nobody else will say anything, I think where the biggest confusion at with the Muslims is just my opinion. Now, y'all, I got to learn too. I'm still learning, but I've been taking a lot of time now, especially on this internet, you can go around the world, man, just sitting in front of your computer. But I see the biggest problem with the black Muslims anyway. Now, them other Muslims, I see a division between them and the black. So that's letting you know right there that they don't see you as an equal or the same. And that's the biggest problem, I think. And they said they had the Arabs, which I believe introduced the Africans to Islam. Still my basic understanding of it, or trying to get the understanding. They introduced it, and it was done in a way that Shaka did it too. They gave them the opportunity to come in, but if they didn't come in volunteer by going on volunteering and doing it, they would force you, man. If they couldn't force you, they'd kill you. You just had to leave here. And that's the biggest problem. I think they're confused because they know Islam is for real, but they know they're not truly a Muslim or Arab or whatever. That's just my opinion. No. I don't know. Maybe somebody else got something that they're thinking ways about it.
Oh, so you're saying that the Muslims, the Arabs forced Islam onto the African.
I think a lot of that went on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. But again, we're talking about the Nation of Islam and the Moore Science Temple. They have a different take on that part of history. Right. Remember, they don't teach the standard history, right? They have their own history. And in their history, They teach you that black people are the originators of Islam, right? They are the creators of Islam, that is the black man's religion, right? So they don't see Islam as being an external force brought into Africa, or an external ideology brought into Africa. For the most part, they believe that, Islam is the black man's natural religion, right? That God or Allah first bequeathed that deen to the black man, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so they believe that the Arab form of Islam is abrogated, that it's a perversion from, the original Islam that was given to the black man. Again, they have a different take on mainstream history. Now, when you look at mainstream history, right, that's not how Islam came to Africa. Islam came to Africa according to general history. Basically, you summed it up, that it was an external force brought into Africa. But again, we're dealing with the African American and what they believe, their forms of Islam that they created. And in their forms of Islam that they created, they basically were being anti-Christian, right? So they had to make up a history about Islam that put black people in the forefront of the religion, right? To counter our subservient role in Christianity, right? So, and then the Hebrew Israelites came along and said, no, we're going to use the Bible and we're going to do the same thing that the Moorish Science Temple and the Nation of Islam do. We're going to, say that we were the first or the original Jews, right? And that the white Jew, right, and the white Christian have an abrogated form of Christianity and Judaism, right? Having a perversion, right? And the black man had the original form of it. So again, these groups don't teach history according to how mainstream history is taught. They have their own history that they, tell about the black man's origin and the origin of these religions. So we have two fights on our hands, right? They don't teach the accuracy of the historical account of the religion, right? And they don't teach the accurate account of the history of the black man. So,
hey, Chef,
go ahead.
let me ask you a couple questions then. So check it out.
Go ahead.
So, all right, we have heard Captain Tazariak said that he don't like Africans, right?
Yeah, I heard him. Yeah, I definitely heard him say that.
All right, you heard him say that. Now watch this shit. All that stuff you talking about, right? Before I said something. You know what I'm saying? You're going in deep. But it ain't that deep, so check it. So he don't like Africans. Mm-hmm. Now, let's just say let's say a busload of Africans, like 20 of them dudes come to the ISGBK place, right? And it's like, yo, you know what? Captain Zazaria, you know what I'm saying? We thought we was Africans, but now we was Hebrew Israelites, right? Mm-hmm. Is he gonna turn them down to be recruited? What do you think?
If it was a two buses full of Africans?
Yes, from Africa. Come to their temple or their spot and tell them that they thought they were Africans, but now they know they're Hebrew Israelites. Is he going to take them in as recruits?
Yes, he is.
So now check it. For the past 3 years, we've been talking about when they started that shit, who brought it to America, all that, right? Mm-hmm. In black and white, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't even think it's about all that religious shit. I just think they want to stay in business.
Definitely.
Keep getting the recruits. That's all it's about. It's not about the serious stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
It's about them staying in business because they already heard all the truth we got. Black and white, it's facts. But he would take them recruits from Africa, but he don't like Africans. Mm-hmm. So it's all about the money, man. It's like them niggas, I'm saying, those dudes found a niche. You know what I mean? They found a niche. The captain, the general, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They found a niche. That's all it is, man. They ain't serious about this religious stuff. They just talking nonsense. And we know that. And they know that. Mm-hmm. So it ain't about that deep shit, man. We going too deep, man.
I like the fact that y'all touching on the different sects, because the different sects, man, whenever you look at it, like even whenever you start with like Dr. Ben and Clark and how they was like how they was hinting at, not necessarily hinting at, but the issue that they was dealing with was identity, as far as us being related to Africans, and you know what I'm saying, and the cultural deal. And then you look at Diop, he come through and prove it. And then you look at the Hebrew Israelites and that identity, and Islam and that identity, and you can just see that we are trying to latch on to some identity, but all these connotations come with identity, right? Identity dictates direction. So I feel like it's really important right now that we really trying to establish it, because right now in the present, I think we do need to come to, agree on something, you know what I'm saying? Because Black, we don't have no direction. But if you are a Hebrew Israelite, at least you feel like you have some direction. If you are Islamic, you feel like you got direction. You feel like you got purpose. So I feel like, it's really important right now that we are having these conversations, because we coming to realize being an African in general don't serve no purpose. Being Black in general don't serve no purpose. And everybody's definition of those terms is different. And we haven't had these conversations. We have accepted other people's labels for us. So it's about time that we define ourselves and try to move forward as a unit. I believe that that's the first step. So I believe that we are going through identity crisis, and it's been a long time coming. Even whenever you look at Malachi Z. York and all our guys, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? All these guys have been going through trying to find something that's for us. And we say we Black and we know what that means, but we can't never define it or come up under no one banner. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the conversation, and I feel like it's going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? We putting it up, we laying it all out on the table, and we ain't had these discussions before. So if nothing else, we having a discussion.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, we can't put Dr. York and Malcolm X together, though. We can't do that.
He had a type of purpose, but he got out of stride later on.
He had no purpose, though. He molested kids. There's no purpose in that.
Right. Well,
the purpose, the point was identity. How he went through so many identities in his set.
Well, Malcolm X came back, you know what I mean, as far as just thinking about, from my perspective, me looking at it, he was going away from more so the Muslim thing to more of an African thing, Pan-Africanism.
That's my point.
Yeah, he was heading in the right direction. Dr. York, he was on Planet Riz.
Yeah, he messed up. He messed up.
He said that man was on Planet Riz.
Yep, he was one that was kind of out of whack. That's just like some of them Christian preachers too that went AY.
Well, let me ask
you. Who's the first album, yo? Who's the first album?
The first
that came out.
Album that came out
talking that.
I have no
idea. More Science Temple or like the they come with that what they say, like I forget they like their little mythology or whatever, but they claim to be like Aboriginals, don't they?
Yeah, but that's new. I don't think that came with the first adaptation to their cult. I think that's that's them adding on.
Well, whenever you say a first Aboriginal really don't apply to no people besides the Aborigines.
Like the guy who came out with that type of philosophy.
Aboriginal is a generic term, just means like native to the land. So it really don't know. It could apply to anybody that's been anywhere for a long time. So I'm just
talking about the abos, that type of concept, the abos, you know what I mean, with that crazy thinking.
Okay.
I think abo actually means Australian, actually. I don't know how they got that twisted up into Native American and putting African Americans in abo. I think Aborigine that term was created for people from Australia and Tasmania. So the original people of Tasmania and Australia, that's the term Aborigine. That is for these black Australoids, basically what they was called.
And then you have Aboriginal and then Abo, which is all different terms.
No.
So is Abo?
I think Abo is a abbreviation of Aborigine. The guy, what's his name? Muhammad, Ali Muhammad claims that he's an abo now, and it's crazy. Like certain terms you shouldn't even use, right? The fact that you would call yourself an Aborigine lends to whoever said, I think it was Mr. Rich or somebody, claimed, that is ignorance. It's definitely ignorant. You're definitely talking to an ignorant group of people, right? If they African Americans and calling themselves abos. You know what I mean? Like that's nuts. Who the hell would call themselves? Like, that's like calling yourself a nigga. You said
and do not want to take a DNA test, man. Come on.
Yeah, I
don't understand.
Because see, that's my thing. DNA kills all pseudos, right?
All the time. All the time. And I don't want to, that's why I'm saying, like, anytime you start talking DNA, if somebody got something to hide, they're going to discredit DNA. They got to, whatever the DNA, they got to get, it's like when you go into court. You feel me? The DNA is going to be the last, all of the arguments that you put together, right? That DNA is going to be the fine, like, it ain't no way around that shit. You feel me? Man, they get DNA off a razor that cut the flesh. They get DNA off a damn razor, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Chef.
Go ahead.
So, how many, whenever you look through your lineage, even if you don't know, I don't know if you did a test or whatever, but whenever you look through your genealogy, whenever you think about your ancestry, how many different ethnicities do you think is in your bloodline? You know what I mean? Just a guess. Do you think it's a lot?
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, because you just said
right.
Ethnicity, right? That's
right.
I don't think you. First off, I don't think you can distinguish ethnicity from DNA.
So this is the point I'm making. This is the point that I'm making. So if all of us, right? I think that applies to all of us, that we could go. We probably got a white side, a native side, a African side, all different parts of African side to us, and then people look at their DNA and see the highest percentage, and then say that's what they are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When it don't even be making sense to me. Like, whenever I think culture determines what you are in the present, and your DNA just determines like where you was at. Whenever I look at DNA, it just say it maps out where my people was at different times. That's how I see it. But people look at it to determine who they are.
Let me ask you a question. So, are you African American?
According to how we identify today, because we are in the system.
No, according to you. No matter what they say.
I wouldn't argue that, but I wouldn't argue that. Like, I don't know why you asked me, but I would identify.
I'm not arguing anything. I'm just asking you a question. I just said,
of course he is.
I'm saying I wouldn't argue it. I'm not saying you arguing. I said I don't have a problem with identifying as that.
All right, so now we look at your DNA. Now we look at your DNA. You think it's going to be like, what, 50 European, like 30 African? What do you think?
I'm telling you that I don't think it. Why does it matter? That's what I'm asking you. That's what my point that I'm bringing.
Because you were saying about, we trying to get to identity.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And we was talking about, you were talking about the DNA. It doesn't really say anything if it's 80% African or 2% Indian or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because most of us, go ahead.
So, okay, I'm going to go with you. So let's say I'm 40% Nigerian and the rest is split up, you know what I'm saying, down. 40% is my highest. Does that make me Nigerian?
No. It's
not going to say that. It's not going to say that. It's not going to say 40% Nigerian if you took your DNA test.
This is a hypothetical, bro.
I know, but I'm saying let's stick in the realm of how it works.
All right.
I'm following you.
Hold
on. Let's follow Amir, because he's more abreast of what's going on with this right here. Let Amir run through.
What the brother's saying is why I explain it, the creolization of our people. That's why I say we're a New World African American Creole. I'm still an African because I'm highly African. But again, we come from multiple regions in Africa. Like I said earlier, you may be 36% Nigerian and 10% Senegalese or 3% Ghanaian. Those are the regions that your DNA or your ancestors come from. But ethnically and culturally today, you are African American. You're no longer a Yoruba. You're no longer a Khan. You're no longer none of that. You share genetic affinities with those people because you recently descend from them. You also share some similarity to your Northwestern European ancestors. In some cases, it was through rape. In a lot of our cases, we know what happened to us. And in some cases, when some people were open to do it, they did it openly, especially in recent times. I'm talking about after 1865, down the line when Black Americans and other groups of people were able to mingle with these people. So all of your European ancestry isn't a result of slavery. That's the narrative that people want to promote. So what I'm saying is that we represent a new people in a new situation of a new world. So we are African Americans ethnically. Do I identify as an African? Absolutely. This is why they slapped the idea of Black on me. Why do they call me Black? Because I descend from mainly sub-Saharan Africa, what they label as sub-Saharan West and Central Africa. I'm called Black because of that. You get what I'm trying to say? So some people may not like the African term. That's fine. But for me, I identify as an African. I identify as being Black. But as a nationality, my nationality is American. Whatever politics goes on the continent of Africa has nothing to do with me as an American citizen at all. It doesn't affect me. But ethnically, I am African American. So I call in African American culture as well is an exterior African culture. Why do I say that? Because these were Africans that was going through this. We made the best out of nothing. We had to work with what we had, and these were Africans struggling, creating a new identity for themselves. And that's where the creolization comes in. So this is why I say NUWAC, New World African American Creole. And our culture is an exterior African culture. It's not a Yoruba culture. It's not an Igbo culture. It has elements of all that in it. But it's something that we created based off survival. Just like our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. They represent an exterior African culture. The culture and customs of Jamaica. The culture and customs of Trinidad. And in America, in the North, white America and Black America, we have differences in our culture. We see based off the society and how the system was structured. We see the marginal lines and the banner that they still put in play for us, yet and still things appear as if it's getting a little bit more looser. So what I'm saying is that even though we're very similar, like if you put a Black American man and a white American man in the middle of China, they're going to be both looked at as being American, and they might relate to one another more than they will relate to a Nigerian, a group of Nigerian students. The average white American student and the Black American student going into China, surrounded by a bunch of Nigerians, they may relate to one another more culturally than the average Nigerian. But that doesn't make you non-African if you choose not to be. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
so to me,
that's peace. Yeah, that's because ethnically we are American, right? Like
yes.
Yeah, ethnically we're American. Now I want to say
Can I give an example?
Go ahead.
I got a great example.
Go ahead.
So this is where some confusion comes in with African and Black, right? Because we set up and listen to Wujawu and Rob Bourne argue from those different perspectives. Rob Bourne is like, I identify with my Africanness. I'm African first. And Wujawu says, I'm American first. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they oppose, but they steady going back and forth like it's opposed. So it's just good that we had these conversations to be like, okay, are they one and the same? Are they opposed? So I agree with everything when it goes you said. I believe he was making the same point, but we still have to be careful because somehow we still missing. You know what I'm saying? Even whenever we agree to these terms, because I don't think that Wujawu don't think that he African, of course, and I don't think Rob Warren don't think that he American, but they just looking at it from different perspectives. I don't think Rob Warren is wrong to say, okay, considering our circumstances on how we got here, I don't want to accept American first. I'm African first. Mm-hmm. And I can see Wujawu's point to saying, hey, we finna work with what we got. We in this system. Let's work it. Fact. So it's just these lines right here is what be kicking our ass.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah,
he's right.
Now I want to say this, because and Goldie, you said something earlier, right? About our language, right? African American language. What was the abbreviation for that again?
AAVE.
AABE. All right, African American or
Vernacular English or Ebonic.
okay. Now, I didn't heard the different groups talk, about how it has certain syntax and morphologies that, cadences and different and fluctuations that, stem from Africa, right? But recently I've been looking at the guy Thomas Sowell, right? And he explained that African American vernacular or Ebonics, it ain't African. He's saying that it is a bastardized form of English, right? That we picked up from rednecks, right?
Yes. I'll explain it. Yes.
Go ahead.
That's true. It's just like patois with the Jamaican speak. That's broken English. Yet and still, it has a lot more syntax and cognates from the continent of Africa. But if you listen to patois, it's really related to Northwestern European British. When you go into Savannah, Georgia, and you listen to dialects of English the African Americans speak South, yes, our vernacular of English is English. Yes, it's Indo-European. It's Germanic. It's British language, which is English, comes from Germanic tribes, and it's all part of the Indo-European language family. Yes, but we have syntax and cognates that comes from Africa. The tonal sounds in the language, the noun usage, the verbiage sound pitch in the language that we speak. You go to Memphis, the brothers talk like, "What am man? What you doing right there, boy?" Nah, man, the motherfucker on here fell back. You go to New York, they say shit like, "Yo, what up, son? Peace, God." You know how they speak with that. In the dialect. You go to Chicago, we like, "What am, Joe? What you on right there, man?" Hell no, bro, them niggas down there crazy, Joe. Fuck that. Shorty capping. You feel me? So it's like, yes, it is Indo-European, but it has tone and verbiage within a language family that's highly tonal in sub-Saharan Western Central Africa. Terms like yo, and other terms that's been filtered. So yes, I wouldn't denounce that it's European. But again, these were Africans creating their own dialect of what they had. Because remember, King, we were stripped. It's like we lost a whole sense of identity. So African Americans is so beautiful because we knew we had to make something out of nothing. We had to totally reconstruct ourselves to the best of what we have. So our new situation is a very beautiful situation, even though it's a result of slavery and struggle. It shows the sign of resilience. If you look at what we've been through, for a nigga to survive on ships for 6 months or however long it takes to get here, it shows the African endurance. It shows the African resilience. Then we turned around and got stripped from our identity, and we had to take what we had and make the best out of it. I told a brother that's talking about going back to Africa, if an African American opened up a soul food restaurant, and people could talk about soul food all they want, if he opened up a soul food restaurant in Ghana or somewhere in Latin America, that shit is sell just like tacos sell to us in America. That shit would be pumping because it's part of our culture. It's part of our situation. It's part of what we created. I'm talking everything except the swine. We don't deal with swine for people. I'm just saying me. I don't know. Some brothers may do eat it, but me, I don't deal with swine. But you get what I'm saying, though. Our struggle represents our situation, and it's unique to us. And we have to totally reconstruct ourselves based off nothing. So yes, back to your question or what you were saying, yes, our language family is Indo-European. It's broken English. It's British. Even American English isn't proper English. So it's an after effect of an after effect of an after effect. And we just got our own dialect of it. You feel me?
Yeah,
it's just like,
but
it's just like
that's what I'm saying. See, Thomas Sowell is saying that broken English that we speak, right, comes from the rednecks that we was around. Like, it's not. He's saying that, I'm gonna have to send you the video, right?
Are we speaking about the Gullah language, Chef? Are we speaking about the Gullah language?
No, just a regular African American Ebonics. Yeah, that's slightly true, brother Chef. He is telling the truth, but again, it's the tonal uses in the tone. Like for example, you go down south to Mississippi or Alabama. Some of them white boys talk like a brother from the hood. Their uses of words. You're not a brother from the hood. because Chicago Black Americans got their own dialect. Baltimore Black Americans got their own dialect of English. We all got our own usage.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that it's a subtle truth to that. It's influential from the broken English from the rednecks. But as we go off, we still carried our own tone of usage.
I would like to believe that.
Our languages, like our slang, it's real colorful. It's like a collage almost. Because you can say we did, a lot of us, or a lot of our ancestors first learned English from the country white folks, you know what I mean? From the bastardized language, the white folks that could barely speak English themselves. But what we did is we took it, we remixed it, like y'all saying, mix it with a little African stuff we had going on, mix it with a little of this, a little of that, and then you get the development of hip hop, right? And so me being from Georgia, right? Born and raised. You got me, I listen to so much hip hop, I get to talking to people now. People think they ask me, am I from up north or some shit like that? You feel me? So it's like we took something that wasn't nothing and we made it into something beautiful to the point where we developed. It's like I put it like this, yo. It's like we in a secret club when we talk to black folks, right? When we talk to each other, bro. Like for me, when I talk to another black person, it feel like how Hispanic folks do that don't speak English and they see somebody else that speaks Spanish on the job.
Yeah, that's
it's like a special VIP membership card. You know what I mean? We got in the language and the swag with which we speak. You know what I mean? It has it precedes us. You know what I mean? I enjoy being able to when they say they don't talk black to me, to speak in a slang in the language that only we understand.
That's a fact.
Hey,
Brendan,
what's up?
Brendan, what's up? Did you want to jump in? What's going on?
Let Brendan.
Yeah. I just wanted to put just a piece of clarity in here in terms of the term, the derogatory term abo.
Okay.
Right? Because that's an absolute racial slur, and we got to get rid of that term in our community.
Okay.
You know, it was a few years back. I remember when people in the community started calling themselves Aboriginal. I guess, you know, it was Aboriginal people. They were, you know, to this particular land here in North America, right? I used to watch Stunnetta's TV and stuff like that. You know, I'm just gonna be completely transparent, right? And I heard the term, the Aboriginal, and they were making these terms, and I said, yeah, my particular job, it puts me around the world, right? And I did some travels over in Australia, and I know that they consider the people in Australia, you know, they call them abos. It's a derogatory term. It's a racial slur. It's an insult, right? Right. And I put it in the chat. I was like, oh, you say you calling yourself Aboriginal? Oh, you're an abo, and people just ran with that term. That was the first time that anybody in this community heard that term, and I feel like I could have some responsibility to it. People have to stop. Don't use that term. if you go over to the Australian continent, they're trying to get away from that. You know, when you call those people abos, you know, they've been disenfranchised. If you go over there, they live in horrendous conditions, you know, in terms of that population. The Aboriginal peoples in Australia. You know, don't use that term. That's the reason why I came on is say, please get away from that. You know, right? That's a terrible term. It's akin to calling people folks, you know, ninjas over here. Right? We got to get away from that.
Good info, man.
Yeah,
that's good.
Get away from it.
My man Unc just jumped in the building. What is going on, Unc?
Hey, what's going on, Brendan? You funny, man. Shit, in America, that shit is positive. Yo, we the elbows. Hey, niggas have changed the
100%.
whole motherfucking meaning of it, yo.
We
Yeah,
always do.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
just
we ain't know
wrong.
though, but Brendan, ain't nobody know, Brendan. Think about it.
I'm
If you
over
the
in the
only one to do
outback.
that,
I'm over there hanging on the outback or whatever. They say, hey, yo, this is the elbows and all. Yeah, it's not right. It's not right.
nah, but
Don't
it's
call
not
those
right that
people
you put
that.
the word
Don't
in there
call
without
those
a
people that.
definition, yo.
Right. Exactly.
That's your fault.
It,
Brendan just
it's
giving
not
us the
right.
true meaning of it.
How,
That's all.
how's a
He
nigga
Yeah.
gonna know, yo? Think about it, yo. You throw a word in that motherfucker that sounds
You
slick.
throw it you throw
Elbows.
it in because it was like an abbreviation term. It's like, oh yeah, you guys, you're calling yourself abos. But
like a nigga. You calling yourself
yeah,
what the youngsters do it today, but back in our day, you call us a nigga. You better be ready to fight. That's
no.
just all it is.
But
Especially if you was white.
it has connotations to it.
Not in
You know?
America.
In
You gotta
in
be in the
Australia it
outback.
does. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
in
You gotta be in the
Australia it
outback.
does.
Yeah, you gotta be in the
But
outback.
what I'm saying is that it's just like if you go over there and you call if they were to call themselves niggas, it's like, oh, you call yourself a nigga, you don't want people in Australia calling themselves niggas. You don't want people over here in America calling themselves abos either.
It's too
You
late,
know,
man. It's
Hey
too
yo,
late.
hey
you
yo,
know.
hey, you know what though?
But I'm just saying
Yo, hey,
it should
Yeah, it's
stop.
too late, yo. It's
We
just too
shouldn't
late.
call
It's too
ourselves
late.
What you
derogatory
doing up,
terms
huh?
across the
hey,
globe,
It's
right?
too late,
We
yo,
nigga.
shouldn't.
hey yo, this Chicago drill shit got niggas so globally. Yo, wallahi, them dudes over there in Australia, them cats be doing drill music, yo. They be saying a
Wow.
nigga term. The
I can
blacks be calling
imagine.
themselves
I can
nigga, yo.
imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, the youngsters today, they made nigga just an everyday word now.
I can imagine.
Ain't nothing to it.
All
Yeah,
right. That's all it is.
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. We do. I'm one of them. I'm one of them youngsters. That's, you feel me. That's our term of endearment right there. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean. What we
I
once you
can't
get
give you
called that,
that.
you part of the. You know what I mean. You one of the ones. You know.
How old is you?
I'm 25.
Nigga, you
Man,
ain't
I want you
started
to do
that.
this.
We started that, nigga. We was
No,
saying
I ain't
nigga a
saying
long
y'all
time
start.
ago, nigga.
I ain't saying y'all
Right.
started it. He just said the youngsters. We just use
Yeah,
it a
they
lot.
throw it
I'm
We
around.
saying
use
I'm
it a lot.
55, and I'm the age group that was actually implementing nigga like that shit it's cool. Yo, what's up, my nigga?
Yeah,
Of
they did it on the
course,
That's
street.
our
of
shit.
course. I ain't trying
Here's
to
the
Y'all
take
just
credit.
carried
difference.
on the banner. Hold on, y'all
You
just
feel
carried
me?
on the banner of the ultimate.
But
Hey,
but here but here's the difference.
Nah, that's fact. Nah, that's facts. That's facts.
Yeah,
My
yeah, you know what
partner
I'm saying?
in
definitely.
the
He definitely.
streets.
Yeah.
It in
That's
the
facts. That's
streets. It
facts.
was everyday word in the streets on the corner. I'm just like you, Unc. I done heard you give your testimony of how you did that, this, and whatever. I ain't gonna go through it, but hey, I was out there too, man. I did it. And on the corner, what's up, my nigga?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
that's
on,
regular.
blood?
That's regular language. I just
Yeah,
think,
we use it as a term of endearment,
but
but
I
It
think,
ain't
I
but the
right.
think when
Aboriginal
The
people, they
point,
don't call themselves abos
yeah,
as
I,
a term of endearment though.
no, but
That's
listen,
that's
man.
the
I think
difference.
both terms are wrong.
They
Like
don't they don't they don't they don't
we
endure themselves with that term.
yeah, and we
That's the
shouldn't
difference.
need, but we shouldn't either.
Exactly.
One of the things that we gotta grow up. Like we
Yeah,
have to grow up. Calling
that's
you, saying
that's right.
that the word nigga is a term of endearment. Yo, we gotta grow up. We make ourselves look crazy. Anytime we have a 68-year-old brother on here, right? And we throwing around the word nigga like it, that's crazy. Like
Nah,
that's
you wrong, Chef. You
nah,
absolutely wrong,
Yeah,
no,
Chef.
I don't
no,
know
that's
about that
You're
one,
crazy.
You
Chef.
wrong.
absolutely
That's
right,
crazy.
Chef.
You
I
wrong.
don't know
No, he
about
not.
that one,
No,
Chef.
no. Watch
That's
this.
crazy.
Let me tell you what.
You
Let me
got a
tell you what
point.
gotta happen. No, I'm gonna tell you what gotta happen. Listen, I'm saying that brother that's 25, yo. That's dope that he used that word. I'm saying when you start getting my age, 55, right? You got to change your language. Like you got to transition. So
That's
I'm
right.
kind of working on that. But don't be the old fart in the fucking room talking about, I don't need that. Nah, come on, man. They know what they're using it for. Let them do that.
No, as
Like
a
that's,
young man,
but
I
as
knew
you
that shit
grow,
was
But
wrong.
as
Chef,
you
Unc
Chef
is
grow,
though,
right. Unc
as you
is right.
grow,
He's
Chef, I
right.
ain't
I'm
gonna.
telling you, like you sound like a nut.
They'll grow
And
out
I'm
of
not
it.
saying
They'll
you,
grow out
Chef.
of
I'm just saying you can't run around here and berate motherfuckers when you the one that implemented the fucking word. So I can't be the one to tell them don't
No,
use it
no, that's
because it
just
don't
like
make sense.
saying
I gotta just stop using it like that
no, that's
because
just
it
like
means something
saying
different to
because you
each
sold
generation, yo.
drugs. That's like
That's
saying
No,
because I sold drugs and I did that,
no, you're
then
wrong.
I'm
It's a
not
word,
going to
Chef.
tell the dudes that's selling drugs now that they
Chef. No,
wrong.
Chef.
That's
We talk about the
if
word, Chef. We're
all
not
right.
talking about
So
taking niggas' lives with drugs.
hold on.
You
So
put two things together
all right. Well,
that don't
my
match.
bad. My bad.
Yeah, goddamn,
I'm
that's
no.
extreme, ain't it? That's
Yeah,
kind of
but
extreme, bro.
sometimes you gotta show an extreme
No, that's
because a
no, that
wrong.
don't make
Hold
no.
on, a wrong is a wrong, right? Like we gotta
That you
stop.
can't say it's wrong. It's language.
But
That
chef
shit.
though, chef,
Oh my
that's an
god,
You gotta know when
adaptation
to use it,
and
Chef.
some
it
shit
ain't
we
no
added
use for it.
to our vote.
It is, Chef.
Chef,
This is what was wrong. Hold
that's
up.
You
something
hear
we
what the
added
brother?
to our.
Hold on. You hear what the
It was
young brother
wrong.
just said?
Back in the
He
old
said,
days, when you had the racist redneck crackers,
"Oh
excuse my
man,
word.
oh
I'm right
man,
here in the panhandle, Florida,
oh
Georgia,
man."
Alabama. They'll call you a nigga in a minute. That was a fighting word. But today, they took that word, the youngsters today are taking it and make it something to play with. You know,
No, it's still a
That's
fight.
retarded.
Brother,
Yo, it's
hey,
still a
That's
fight
retarded.
word.
brother James, it ain't even like
It's
that
still a
because
fight word, man. Depending
if a
on who
white
you
man call me
saying.
in, if a white man call me a nigga,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
I'm gonna
gonna
have to
fight.
test
right,
that jaw and see
right,
what that
right.
jaw's
It's
like.
still a fight. It's
That's
still a
that.
fight
That's
word, yo.
exactly. It ain't like we just let anybody just. No, it's a black thing only. It's a black man said to another black man. We just ain't just letting nobody call us nigga. You got to fight behind that. Ain't no way a white man could call me a nigga
It's
and not
I'm
rules
just,
to it.
not test his jaw out.
It's
We
rules
ain't
to it.
going like that.
I'm just
Where I
talking about
disagree
how
is,
y'all do
hold
it
on,
right
bro.
in the
Hold on,
public.
bro. Hold
They
on,
do
bro.
it right in the public, man.
Where I disagree is that the brother was saying that, well, our language is colorful. I'm saying, well, we got to learn how to waddle with bums and dine with kings. So there's a certain time and place where you speak a certain way, right? Y'all can call it code shifting, whatever the hell they be saying. I'm just saying you speak a certain way depending on where you at. You just can't be always, I'm saying, yeah, me, yeah. No, I'm saying I'm not allowed to speak that way when Dr. Miyot bring me in to teach her class, right? I can't talk like that. I have to speak like this. I can't say, yo, them niggas, yeah, I'm saying with the feel like I wouldn't, she wouldn't let me do it. Like,
Right.
so I
That's
had to
right.
realize that, yo, what I'm doing is like I gotta relax, right? Catch myself. Because the truth is, when some of y'all work jobs, you don't go on a job 50K, 75,000, saying, yeah, I mean, you chill that shit out. So we ain't gonna play this game. Oh, colorful and all that, that's cool. But you know, you gotta be measured in your approach in anything you do. So we're not running around just hollering about nigga. But when you with your friends and you chilling, it's cool. So for me, at my age, I best be kicking it in gear and don't nigga people to death, because if I'm speaking intelligently, people gonna follow me. Like I've actually grown up in front of y'all. Last 15 years, I've grown up in front of y'all. So there's certain things I just can't continue to do. But the young brother, he's fine with that. I don't take offense to him using that word. I'm not the old fart in the room. Right? The white boys that man, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta be an example. Chef gotta be an example. Right? We just have to be examples for the young brothers. We can't keep beating them up and don't leave them shit. You know what I'm saying? We doing this pseudo killer thing to leave the young brothers and sisters something.
All right,
Simple
so
as that. I know what I was doing it for.
let me ask you this. This is the ultimate test of whether a thing is proper or not in any
Yeah,
circumstance.
my son, yeah, them kids, them young kids, my sons and them say that shit. Yeah.
Oh, right. So this is the test. When you're raising your children, do you tell your children it's okay to use the word nigga at any time? No, you don't.
No.
You
So
tell them by your actions, Chef.
no, hold
You don't
on.
listen to what you tell them.
Chef is right. You don't
Come
teach them
on,
kids that.
listen, yo.
No,
When you
man, you don't tell them nothing.
fuck
It's
it.
your actions. So I use the word nigga around here. So my actions deem it okay, Chef. I don't tell them don't use it because
No,
that
but
ain't. It's
how
your
you rate?
actions.
Hold on.
Yeah, chef. My pops ain't
Exactly.
never really spoke on using the N word. I seen how it was used and what you
Yeah.
do as a kid. You soak up your environment. You feel me? That's
I agree, but I'm saying how you instruct your children is really your values. I don't think none of us would sit here and tell our children that they can use the word nigga, right? So that's really the value right there. Now, us using it right? You might smoke cigarettes, Black and Miles, or weed, right? And you and your friends might do it. But when it comes to your children, right, you're going to tell your children, no, don't do that, because you understand the harm in it. The same way we're using the word nigga. None of us are going to tell our children that it's a term of endearment and it's okay for them to use it. So that shows the truth.
Yeah, you just getting old. You just getting old, dog.
Oh
I done seen them on CNN, and they had an intelligent conversation around the word, and they wasn't just saying what you were saying, Chef. Now, I know, man, you like to debate shit, but the reality is, it's a lot to that word. It's not that simple, bro. It ain't don't use that term and do it. It can be all those things.
You want to make it complicated.
No, you make it complicated.
It's not complicated. You know what, those chef? You see,
emphasis is how you use the word.
You see how terms can change, though, chef. You know how you see how language changed. But this goes back to what you talked about with our vernacular English. You see how the term nigger was a disrespectful term, and then it turns around to become nigga, and now nigga means a whole lot. If you really think about it, you got Arabs calling one another niggas. Like, yo, they say that nigga, like they literally calling each other nigga, like that nigga crazy. You got white boys who's not around black people who call each other niggas. You feel me? So now it's like the word becomes a term for, I'm just keeping it real. Like when a woman say, that's my nigga. Or if a brother say, Mike, yeah, bro, that's my nigga. It becomes a term for friend. It has so many meanings now. You know what I'm saying? Or a motherfucker, the man on the block, be like, yo, that's that nigga. It becomes a term for somebody of authority and power. Nigga means so much. You know what I'm saying? It's just...
It's a good point.
It's the emphasis on the word, right?
That was a great
you know
point.
how to go, right? Like, I'm gonna kill that nigga, yo. It's the emphasis. It's the emphasis on the word. One word. Listen, one word, right?
Talking about decadency, right?
It's like the black.
A lot of different meanings.
Listen to me. You done heard me cuss people out, right?
Glorifying our decency, right?
No, you getting old, nigga. I can tell you getting old, nigga.
No, it's the truth.
Chef, for us, in my age group, right?
Now
for us, and a side note, Unc probably don't even. I don't see how Unc don't even remember.
I grew up
using
the word.
I
grew up using the word, so I
do remember you. What you mean?
No, but all right, cool. I ain't know if you did, but anyway, nah. You know I went to school with your nephew, bro. That's my man's Jordan.
I know, yo.
Okay. Nah.
I
But
wasn't trying to let everybody know that, though. God damn, I wasn't trying to let everybody know that. God damn.
I was gonna say this though,
We
bro.
ain't the
I was gonna
police,
say what it is though. Like what it is like though, bro. It's like
so then you really know.
See,
hey, yo. So then you really know then, huh?
nah. Hear me out, bro. Though, hear me out, bro. It's like if Chef, it's like if you use it your whole life, right? And you got a son and he see you doing something and he's saying it, right? And you might feel some type of way about it. You may feel like that might not be the best way to express yourself. And there may be some validity to that. But to us hearing it, it's the same thing we always hear from the generation before us. A lot of the times it's criticism and critiques on the same stuff we see y'all doing, right? So what it's gonna do is first we use the word in a completely different context. I mean, similar to how y'all use it, but it's even more on a larger scale. But it becomes a thing where to us, all we hear when y'all say that now is just like y'all telling us something else we doing wrong. You feel me?
Yeah, it's colorful. It's the emphasis on the word. Hold on, Chef. It's the way you use it's the emphasis on the word.
What I would say
like
is
it's all in the language. It's just the emphasis, the way you using it. I know how you mean it. You say, "Nigga, I'm gonna kill your motherfucking ass, nigga." Then I know you trying to hurt me with it. You say, "Yo, that's my nigga right there. I ain't seen you in a while." I know. You say that's love. That's the dude I love. So it's the word has just been, it's a lot to the word, man. It's a lot in that word. It's a powerful word. It's the word of ignorance. It's the word of slavery. It's the word of love. It's the word of pain. It's the word of fear. It's a damn word, man. And at the end of the day, stones may break your motherfucking bones, but words ain't never supposed to hurt you, yo. That's just real.
And that's a lie. Words
Well, I'm
hurt
just
like a
saying, not supposed
motherfucker.
to.
Words hurt
That's
like a
Not a lot.
motherfucker.
It's not
That
supposed
same
to.
word
bro.
was a great word in Africa. That same word, that nigga. Nigga. Nigga.
Now you making it up.
I
Now you
don't
want
think
to
that's
shoot
the
on
same
the
thing.
middle of the show.
Yo,
Yeah,
then
that's
when
that's
KRS
Yeah,
One on
we
us,
ain't gonna let you do
that's
that.
KRS One.
but what I would
That's
say,
KRS-One nonsense.
Words and language don't exist in a vacuum. It's not like, okay, we can say the word nigga and then okay, we can just confine it to our own culture. That word means things outside of our culture as well, right?
That's right.
Because especially because we live in America, which is we have multiple cultures as well. You know, so every term of endearment and explanation that you guys just gave us is within our own culture. But what does that mean outside of our culture as well? You know,
It don't matter, do it?
It
See,
yeah, it
does
ain't
it does
important
it
see, this
because
the
matter?
it's it
problem.
don't
It
matter
does.
because
It doesn't matter.
it's
Hold on.
our thing
It
though.
It's
absolutely
not
does
our
matter
thing. See, this
because
the
when
It's
someone
our
outside
it's
of your culture does the same thing,
I can't,
is it going to be a problem?
yes,
yes.
it's problematic because
Yeah.
you can't. So I'm telling you right now, to my generation, if you're not black, you still not allowed to say the N-word. It is very problematic. It's it's a part of our culture because it's our thing, and
That's
the
right.
rules is the rules.
But is it our thing?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
out
we
there.
changed
Is it?
we
That's
changed
what
it
I
into
was
our thing.
thinking.
We took it from
For,
something
for
negative
his
and made it our thing.
Yo,
for his little
No, no,
area,
no.
I
that's
get
their
Other
thing.
cultures use it as they should. They use it
Right.
as a derogatory term for you.
Yeah.
That's how
I
they use it.
know, but that's them. That's when they
And
get beat the fuck up.
yeah,
now
that's
And
you
when
that's
you
that's when you
get
know,
Well,
the
brother.
we're
the
gonna
taste
beat
They get
smacked
the
people
out
up
your
ups.
mouth.
for using it, right?
They
I
say they
can't
get the
We're gonna
ups,
go
yo. What you
around
trying to
beating
say?
people up,
I
right?
can't I
They get
can't
the ups.
see
Yeah.
this
Hey,
this the
Brendan, they get the ups, yo.
hold
You
on,
know how niggas they get
this
the
the
ups.
problem.
You know,
I
Got us
can't
beat up and fucked up.
for sure,
hold on.
to jail.
But
Go
for
to
sure,
jail for
for
that
sure.
kind of
As
stuff.
they should.
Hey,
no,
Brendan, then you mess around and get jailed up all for a word.
but see, that's the problem. We shouldn't have never
That's
made it
yeah,
an affectionate term.
yeah.
That just
We
shows
just
hold
We
on.
tried to teach y'all. We tried to teach you.
No, yeah, but that just shows,
we'll
right?
be better off without it.
Yeah,
Sure,
Yeah.
we're
sure.
better off
We'll be
without
better
it.
off without it.
What people will sit around, right, and call themselves the derogatory term that the
Somebody
goddamn
else made up.
yeah, like that's but we do it and then we justify the shit. I can't even I can't
Horrible.
even articulate myself properly to tell y'all how crazy y'all sound. Like to see
That's not true.
to
That's
see
Man,
not
I
true.
can't fuck.
I think that's kind of
Yeah.
you kind of
Chef,
like
stop
I don't
it.
know. That's kind of absurd, bro. I
It's,
ain't
I
gonna
know.
hold you.
it's
That's why they
ignorant,
say we
yo.
got Stockholm syndrome, bro.
That
That's
shit
why they
is
say we got
so
Stockholm syndrome.
ignorant, yo. Like I wish I
That,
could hang the fucking phone up on y'all.
Can.
I wish I could hang
Hang
the
up,
fucking
nigga. Say
phone
it.
up on y'all.
I
But
mean,
this ain't a
chef,
phone call.
chef, that's your opinion on the matter, though,
That's your
bro.
opinion,
And
chef.
Yo
we
said
got a
that's an
different of opinion on
That's
opinion.
your
the matter.
opinion,
You feel?
chef.
Hey,
That's
you
your
know what?
opinion of the matter.
You know, all us able to have open different opinions, yo.
Right.
Crazy.
Because we're Americans. You can only
Right.
do shit like this in America. This is a
Yep.
place built off democracy, yo.
Yeah, only in
Yeah,
America.
for
Can you
sure.
call a nigga a nigga?
Yeah.
That's like if
You
somebody was to
can,
come on,
but you can't.
if somebody was to come on here, right?
Yes, sir. That's
Look,
how we
if
coming.
somebody was to come on here right now
Hey,
and try to
rules.
convince us that slavery was a good thing for black people, we'll all go fucking crazy.
Absolutely.
We will all go
Facts.
crazy. So imagine,
Of course.
right?
There you go,
Imagine
yo.
the same. If a black man came on here, right, and told us that slavery was good for black people, we'd go crazy on him too, right? So
course.
now is black people on here telling us that nigga is cool, and we agreeing to the shit.
You didn't say that. You just made it up,
No,
chef.
that you're saying it. Like I can't
No, you
even.
meant
That's exactly what
you
you
made it
are.
up. I mean,
Ain't
everybody
nobody
cut
make
the
it. So
fuck
no,
in.
when
That's not what I said.
I put it side by side, right? When
That's
I
not
put
what I
it
said.
side by side with slavery, right?
Never
then
said that.
You see how wrong it is. Imagine we put this shit in popular usage, right?
Made it up.
People can go on TV, rappers can say it, right? And glorify that shit. And we saying we like the shit. That it's cool for us to use it. That's nuts.
You messed it up. I never said that.
Yes, you is. You saying it's
No,
cool.
I didn't.
You saying it's cool.
No, I'm not. You saying it's cool. I'm
saying it's cool.
No, I'm saying
you
depending
too old
on
for that shit.
I said, what's up, my nigga? It's a different word from nigga, I'm gonna kill you. Nigga, get over here, nigga. That's 3 different words, bro. No matter what you say, it's the emphasis that make the fucking word, Chef.
Okay.
And you trying to play us like we don't got no sense. So we're not talking about the word that the slave master used, using emphasis as he split open your damn back. That ain't what we're talking about. We're not talking about the word a person uses when they shoot you in your head. No, words change based the meaning of a word change based off the same word with different emphasis. Yo, you trying to overtalk now, yo.
When did nigga change?
I ain't listen to that shit. You sound crazy.
Change?
Now listen to you, bro.
This is like Ptolemy. This is like Ptolemy calling himself the black. It's the same thing. The black. We don't know what the black is.
One day y'all gonna wake up and realize, hey man, you know the same word based off the emphasis changed meaning. One day y'all gonna figure that out. That's not. Sure. I'm letting you know that's something that actually happens with words and languages. I just want y'all to know that.
What about?
I just want y'all to understand.
It's like when Obatala in Nigeria called himself white. What do they mean by that? When Nigerians talked about Obatala, I'm sorry, white being pure. And then you got people in Europe calling themselves white people. You get what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Ain't nowhere in the world.
It's a connotation.
I'm gonna sit there and watch. I'm gonna watch CNN, and they have a serious discussion around the word, and it was a good discussion around the word. So that word is that word. I know y'all remember it was banging about a year and a half ago. About 2 years before the pandemic. And they was wondering about that word, and they had a couple conversations around it, and it was a good discussion around it. So, words and language is very colorful, and the way something is said and used, right, and emphasis on it, So we're not talking about the word they was using before they hit you on the back. Okay, that's not what that's not the word I was using when I said my nigga. Different. Right, that's not it. I was saying that's love. That's my nigga, but they saved my fucking life. That's my nigga. That's what I meant by that word. Now, before you shoot him, I'm gonna kill that nigga. That's the word before you kill a nigga. The word I just used right now was emphasis. I was like, I'm gonna kill that nigga. It was some flavor. You know what I'm saying? So the word, is a very diverse word based off of the way you pronounce it and based off the meaning and emphasis behind it. And I all think we should be intelligent enough to know that. So I'm not running around until you don't use the word. It's a filler. It's not that big a deal. And to a white person say, I'm gonna kill you, nigga. And then you a nigga, and then and then you feel the pain, you feel the slavery, and you feel all the oppression, and you smack the shit out of them.
So you don't think that the white people use nigga in that same way? See, that's how.
But you can't. Hold on. But you can't though. But you can't.
No, I heard you out. I didn't cut you off. I heard you out.
Yes, you did. You kind of did.
No, when you wasn't finished. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Right, because you cut me off in the beginning of me saying it, so I'm just doing the same.
And then I let you get all your shit out, but you wasn't finished. So
let me get it out. All right, let me finish. White people can't never use the word not unless you give them permission.
No,
we all know that. Oh my God. No, we know that.
That's
you
not
what I was saying. You'll get fired from your job. You'll get fired from your job calling the black person nigga. That's the rule, bro. God.
Hey, let me say this right here.
Hold on, let me
say Brendan, am I wrong, Brendan? Hey, Brendan, am I wrong, Brendan?
Let me get my point
white person call you a nigga without losing his job?
No, you'll get fired from your job for using that word as well.
So white people gotta even show you that, like
white people you will get fired from your job because you will offend another black person.
White
for using that word.
Us now, I say the word.
I don't know where y'all work at.
Right.
If I go to my job and say that word, I would get fired.
You would get fired.
I would get
that's now where I work at. I work in the
Now, I
health
work in
environment,
I ain't
bro.
gonna have them.
Okay.
Hold on.
I work
I'm
in
just
sales,
saying.
Can I get
bro.
my point out?
They is not firing black folks for calling for using the word nigga, bro. That's absurd, bro.
Hold on. Let me get my point
Y'all
out.
talking about y'all
Anecdotal. That's
situations, bro.
anecdotal. That's anecdotal.
Hold
I don't
on.
know.
Your
I don't know where you
what
work.
you just explained too is
I don't.
anecdotal too, though, bro.
I'm just saying.
You
That's why I
talking about
say
your specific work environment, bro.
that's
And
what I'm saying.
I'm just giving you a different perspective because they not firing black people here
This is all
for saying nigga,
anecdotal.
bro.
That's what I'm saying. This is anecdotal. We don't know one way
Uh,
or the other.
check it out. Unc just said that it's a term of endearment. You say my nigga. That's my nigga right there. I'm saying that white people used it the same way. If their slave did something good, that's my nigga. You feel me? Every way that you think that it was you, it's a fucked up word. I can't even. You niggas all got brain damage at this point. Niggas said that they came up with the right way to use the word. Right? Like the white man listen, the white man that used it every way that you niggas use it. It's never been a good fucking word. But I'm talking to niggas with brain damage at this point. I'm talking to niggas with brain damage at this point.
Chef, these some good
Let me
niggas.
ask you this question.
These some good niggas. Oh, that's my nigga right there. Oh, Toby, you wrestled down the whole horse. That's a good nigga right there. That's my nigga. Right? Hold on. And Uncle just sit here and said that we came up with a good way to use the word nigga. That it mean, you think the slave man say, I love that nigga right there. You niggas done lost y'all motherfucking minds on here,
Funny
yo.
as a motherfucker, yo. That was a good one. That was a good one, boy.
Like y'all
Man,
gotta
that was a
stop,
funny
yo.
ass joke, nigga.
That ain't no joke.
Hey, Chef, you 100% correct. Well, let me ask you a question. So if you say two white boys fight, right? And the white boys not talking to you, but they would just start saying, I'm about to fuck this nigga up. They talking to one another like they about to, and they identify it. What would you feel about that?
Listen, I heard it before. Trust me. I heard it before. Look, I used to work for the gas and electric company, right? And one day I'm working in the house, right, putting the meter in, right, electric meter in. And it was a new complex, right? And out the window I hear some people, talking, right? They walking through the slit of the houses, and they like, nigga, shut up. All this other stuff. I thought they was black. When I looked out the window, it was a group of white kids. Messed me up, right? Now, I was younger then, right? I don't know how I was offended, but I shouldn't have been offended. They was talking to themselves. But when I came out of the house, they stopped saying it. Now, they were talking to each other. So everybody know it's something wrong with that shit, for real. Everybody know that shit. So I had to give them a pass.
Oh man,
I had to give them a pass because they was talking to each other. But I respected them, right? Because they stopped using it when they seen me.
Right, yo. That's what I'm saying. That's the rule, yo.
But they were talking to each other.
Right, and they can do that. Not around black people, though.
Hold on, but hold on.
Come on, yo.
Hold on. In their neighborhood, it's black people that give them the license to use it.
Yep. And they're imitating us too. They're imitating us. And let me get this last word in, fellas.
Should be using that shit at all.
I'm having a great time here, but I got people in here. I'm retired and I don't go to work. I'm keeping them up. So I'm gonna bow out and let y'all finish this conversation and check the replay out in the morning. But y'all have a good night, man.
Appreciate you. We appreciate having you on.
Too, bro.
All right, my nigga.
Boy, y'all crazy.
Bobby.
Take care, man.
You a big troublemaker.
That doggone.
That's funny.
Get off
Oh
that phone for your
man.
wife. For your wife be on your head, boy.
Yeah,
Shit.
she gonna kill me, man.
Hey, I
All
feel
right,
you.
man.
Let me
Peace
be
out.
quiet.
Peace out.
Y'all funny, yo. Hey, Chef, that was a good one, though, yo. You funny as shit with
For
that one.
sure, for sure.
That was a good one. I'm
It's
gonna
the
give you
truth
that. That
though.
was a good one.
But I thought we were supposed to be talking about the abos. We turned it in on ourselves as always, right?
Oh, you went back to
we
the
we
elbow word?
we
Elbow.
imploded on ourselves. But no.
I think the Abos got some good points. I do in some areas. Not in some areas. I do believe that delineation is important because African Americans are their own ethnic group now. That doesn't mean we're not African. We are Africans. But I'm saying we have our own ethnic group now. We are new people. We reconstructed ourselves. We have a new identity. We are what we are. It doesn't mean that we're not black. It doesn't mean that we're not African. Some Abos will say we are not Africans. I disagree with that. We are Africans. We're called black because we descend from so-called sub-Saharan Africa. What black people are, or what they label as black. The first Negroes was the people that the Portuguese came across in Angola and Cameroon. So based off what they called them. So, but we are new people. We have a new situation.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that for sure.
I couldn't say that I'm Yoruba. I couldn't say that I'm Igbo. I couldn't say that I'm that. You could get adopted in it. A lot of people get adopted in it. It's Black Americans that went back over there and got absorbed in the culture and got, they found their way back into it. But overall, you still have your own ethnic group. Even if you go back to the continent. I mean, my mother is Fulani. I'm not Fulani. I'm part of that. I couldn't go back over there. I mean, based off the Fulani, they say whatever your father is what you are. They're patrilineal. I didn't grow up Fulani culturally. So, I mean, I'm African American. So we have our own culture.
Right. And don't those guys, people that go over to those other cultures, they go back to over in Africa, they have to go through an entire, I guess you would say, a reappropriation of the culture, right? It's like, you have to learn all that stuff and learn the traditions and it's a whole different thing, right?
You got it. Yeah, you can get re-adopted, and many people did it, but at the end of the day, those people still gonna look at you different. Even though you're black, but they still gonna. And then you gotta look at some people trying to survive. Some of the people will tell you anything. It's easy to find a village and get adopted in it. You got white
you gotta
people
give them money and stuff.
You got white man from Britain getting initiated in Ifa, becoming Babalaos and shit. Said in Nigeria. So it's like,
I've heard that. Yeah.
Hell no.
It's crazy.
What's up,
I just think
Cujo?
that we should just.
Go ahead, and go. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I think that we should just embrace our new identity. It's a beautiful thing, yo. We're the most influential people in the world. We're very powerful. We fought in every war to build this country, even if it was against our will. We literally made something out of nothing.
And we built the country, man.
Absolutely.
We built, man, the global cotton, the global cotton trade, man, built the modern world, man.
Hell yeah.
Come on, man.
Agreed. Sure. I got something to say. I joined in with y'all. First of all, big up to
Cujo.
Big up Virginia. That's right. Big up Virginia. Big up to the room. Peace, respect.
What up?
The only reason we don't like the word nigga is because we were taught not to like it. That's it. That is absolutely it. That's it. Somebody told us not to like it. Because if you read any slave narrative, when them niggas talk to each other, when they talked about each other, they talk just like we do. They said niggas. We didn't make this shit up. This shit didn't start no fucking 70s. We've been saying nigga forever. These bourgeoisie niggas is who didn't want to be identified and talked about as nigga. Nigga became synonymous with slave. That's the reason we have a beef with it when it comes from white people. But amongst us, when we say nigga, it doesn't mean slave. But it can be used aggressively. Of course it can, because we live in this culture where it is used aggressively. But to say, that's my nigga, like you said, Chef, you was like, Yeah, that's my nigga. Would it have been better? He's like, that's my black man. It wouldn't make a fucking difference what you were called. When we were enslaved, wasn't nobody worrying about what the fuck they was calling you. Wasn't nobody worrying about that. Nigga means black person. That's what it fucking means. That's what it really means. We need to stop playing these white people games, all this bullshit saying how we call each other niggas. So fucking what we call each other niggas. If we don't want them to call us niggas, then we don't want to fuck them to call us niggas. And it's the reason why we don't want it to, because it meant ownership. Because had I been a slave, I would be, who is that? Who is that? That's Battles nigga. That's Battles nigga. That's Battles nigga. Cujo. That's who that is. That's Battles nigga. But once I'm emancipated, it's like, who is that? Who is that right there? That's Battles nigga. No, I'm not Battles nigga anymore. I'm not his slave anymore when that's coming from a white person, because it denoted ownership coming from white people. That was a way that white people used language to put us in our place, to put us in our place. But there's no way I can sit here and listen to y'all saying how when we were slaves and they called us nigga and that was bad. Who the fuck cares what the fuck they called you if they selling your goddamn daughter? Who the fuck cares if they called you goddamn green boat? That don't fucking matter. We use the word. We don't like it because we've been taught not to like it. I challenge anyone to goddamn come at me with that. Anybody. Big up Virginia. Big up Richmond, nigga.
You know what's great about this channel? All perspectives are accepted and listened to. For sure. For sure. Peace.
Yeah, that's I don't have no
Let's
more.
speak
I
that.
don't have no more black cities. So I'm not even. You'll never. I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm just saying the basic use of the word is still wrong. Like we shouldn't be using it. There's a lot of things that I do and I see other people do that I engage in that just because I know I'm not gonna, tell people that it's okay to do it, right? I might do something illegal that I don't supposed to be doing it, right? I might do it because it's a lick, it's a way for me to get ahead. But I'm not gonna sit there and say that it's the right thing to do or it's okay to do it. You feel me? And like I could speak on a lot of things. If y'all lived here and you know me personally, like if it's anybody in the chat, you know what I mean? Like they know I'm not being a hypocrite. You know what I mean? Because I will admit that I do shit that I don't supposed to do. Now I'm not gonna get up, you know what I mean, all into that. You know what I mean? So it's just like me saying that, growing up, yeah, I listened to all hip hop, right? I repeat the songs, I use the same words. Am I saying that I never called a black woman a bitch? Yes, I have. Do I sing the songs that use that word? Yes, I do. But I'm not going to sit here as a grown man and say that that's okay or that's a good thing or, that's the correct way to speak about a female. The same way I'm
Have
not
you
going to
ever
sit
thought
here
about
and say that that's a correct way to address another black man or another black person by using the word nigga. I'm not. You can use the word. It's black women that call each other bitchs in an endearing way now. It's certain men that use the word bitch as an endearing term to their woman, and their woman respond to it. You know what I mean? It's certain dudes that be like, "That's my B right there," right? And it's certain women that be like, "I'm his B." But as a grown man, we know that ain't how you address a goddamn female. Do you think it's okay for if y'all have a daughter? Do y'all think that would y'all come in the house, your daughter's house, if her husband or her boyfriend is calling her that term, y'all wouldn't be offended? Just because in their relationship, it's cool for them to use it. So, I mean, it's just crazy how we pick and choose, you know what I mean, words to be okay with when those words we know those words are wrong, yo. We got to stop. Go ahead,
nah,
Coco.
words aren't wrong. Words aren't wrong. I mean, words
100% with you,
have
Chef.
negative connotations.
I'm with you,
Have
Chef.
negative connotations. Why is bitch a negative word? Why is it negative? Why do we use that as a prerogative against a woman? Why? Because what it does is when you call a woman a bitch, what I grew up in the 80s. We had stray dogs in the 80s. You see stray dogs, you see the bitch walking down the street, and any dog can mount that bitch. That's why we call a woman a bitch as an insult, because it's saying that anybody can fuck you. Basically, that's all it's saying. When you call a woman a bitch, that's what you get. That's what you're really saying. You're saying that anyone can fuck. These words have meaning. It has meaning. I can't just write it off just because the way we look at it now. No, that's not true. Like I said, read any slave narrative. You can call me what you want to call me. I can be ignorant or whatever. But read any slave narrative. When those niggas are talking, and when they talk about niggas, they say nigga, just like we do. Just like we did not make this shit up. They said just like we do. And it simply means person. That's it. It means a dude. Same way we use it now. It means the same thing. That's all it meant amongst us. Because when we talk about slavery, a lot of times we take away our agency in slavery as if we just existed. As if we just existed. I mean, come on, man. Come on, bro. We take away our agency. We ignore that we existed in this as well. So we took this word and we used it. It just was the word. When John Ross, when John Ross in 1619, when he described those people that came off that British or English or Dutch schooner, whatever it was, and we described those 19 some odd niggars, is what he called them, Neggars. He did not mean ignorant people. He did not even mean to necessarily insult. It was simply a way to describe. It simply meant black. Did it become an insult from black white people? Yes, it did. And yes, it is an insult from them. However, we did not use the word like that. It simply means black person, man. I refuse to let somebody tell me how to think.
Yeah, that's look, somebody got the joint playing in the background. No, a Kojo, I agree with you in, the thinking part, right? And being control, but it still remains, right? You're using it as I guess nobody can tell us, what the fact that white people got to correct us now and tell us not to use a word that they use to abuse us. It says something about, us, right?
I don't think they use that word to abuse us. I mean,
What?
they use countless words to abuse us. I mean, I can't look at it like they use that word. I see what you're saying because that's what I see what you're saying, and this I didn't always think like I do now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this coming from countless years of research. I'm not, I didn't pull it on my ass. You know what I'm saying? But no, it wasn't. That wasn't a word to put us down. That was a word to put us down after emancipation. Because after emancipation, it became, well, it was for a while, even during slavery, it was synonymous with slave amongst them. The word nigga was synonymous with slave. The same way the black person would have been synonymous with slave. The same way blackie would have been synonymous. Any word that they had to describe us would have been synonymous with slave.
Yeah, calling a
That's the
person
word that,
blackie is definitely derogatory. Calling a
why?
person a nigga,
Who cares what they call us?
who
Who cares?
cares? Oh my God.
Yeah,
See,
who
see,
cares?
see,
Who cares what they call us? No,
the
it's how we feel about ourselves. Fuck what they say.
hold on.
I mean,
See,
if you're
no,
calling me black, basically when you're calling me a nigga, what nigga really means is black. That's what it means.
no,
That's what
no,
it
no,
really
But
means.
if it's derogatory,
no.
It's
here's the
derogatory
thing.
from their perspective. From their
Here's the
perspective.
thing. Here's the thing. Right? If I'm at a meeting, all right, and they say, well, Brendan, here's your time to go up and present your particular piece of the presentation or whatever. Go and speak your speech, nigga.
I mean, okay, what you're doing is
what would it be?
you're putting it on something after we already have this collective thought on how we feel about the word. So yeah, of course I will react like you're thinking. So it makes no sense to you. But the way you feel about that word is not something you just came up
But
with.
what would
The way
you,
you feel
Cujo?
about
What
that
would
word,
you feel,
no,
Cujo? No, let
no.
me take myself
How I
out
feel
of
is
it.
irrelevant.
Cujo, go and
How I feel
present your
is irrelevant. Because
present your
even the
speech,
way
nigga.
listen, let me tell you the way I feel. It depends on who said it, who I'm talking to. If I'm sitting around you, and you say, go and
Your
speak
boss,
yourself,
your
nigga.
boss,
I'm like,
your
word.
boss.
I don't want a boss, nigga.
I'm
No,
just saying that.
I mean,
if
if
you
that's my
worked in
nigga,
corporate
See,
America,
if that's my nigga, if
see,
that's my nigga, I don't care. No, seriously, bro. I'm
see.
saying I can't pretend that my mind is just predicated on my own thoughts. I'm the result of being taught all these things. We learn these things. We didn't come up with this shit. I grabbed when my son was born to prove to everybody. I picked him up and called him nigga, 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 and this nigga laughed and just like I said in the damn makeup.
Excuses.
That shit don't mean nothing. It don't
It's
mean nothing.
derogatory. It's
It's
derogatory.
derogatory.
You would
Derogatory is
know
not
you.
mathematics. It's not mathematics, brother. It's not mathematics. It's what you believe. That's all it is. It's what you believe. You think it's derogatory. You think it is.
oh
And
man.
so it is.
But see
And
that,
so it is.
It's an insult.
yeah,
It's an
see,
insult.
It's an
cool
insult
Joe.
to you. I'm not
That
insulted.
see,
I'm not insulted. I remember. See,
If
like
you
nigga,
get
I'm from the South in real life. I'm
if
from the
you get
South in
called
real life.
if you get called a nigga in the wrong environment, it'll be an absolute insult.
I know they're trying
I
to
don't care
insult me. If I'm called
if you
an
go
asshole,
if
if
you
I'm
have
called
a
an
serious
asshole,
if Cujo
look.
if you've
I've been in this situation.
if you've been asked to present like uh it, like for instance if you've been asked to present like 5 years of research whatever you would in an academic presentation or whatever Cujo nigga go and present your information Cujo
Again,
the nigga
again,
that
listen,
would be
bro.
an insult.
Listen, no,
No one,
listen.
no
It
one
could
else
be.
will.
It could be an insult. I'm not saying that,
It will be
but
an
read,
insult.
listen to
How
me,
would you
please.
feel? How
What
would you
I'm
feel?
saying, look,
How would you feel?
far too often we make things about us as if we exist just because I am the result of thinking like you're saying. I come from that same school of thought. So I can't give you an honest opinion on what I would do in goddamn
The
1812 if somebody
and
called me a nigga.
you know what?
I know. Wait a minute. How
I'm
would
sorry.
okay
Go ahead.
if somebody's enslaved, if one of my ancestors is enslaved, do you think they would be insulted by the word nigga? You
The
think a slave
reason
would be insulted by the word?
the reason
No. You
why
wanted me to answer the question. Now
I'm
you answer the
sorry.
question. Do you think that I would that if I were a slave in 1812, would I be insulted by the word nigga?
I don't know. You're a slave. You know at that point, right? I'm just saying today
No, I'm
you
still
are
a
not a
human being.
slave.
No, I'm still a
You are
human
not
being.
as
I'm still a
my
human being. I
example
still
is
have
that you're
agency.
not a slave. You're not a slave
Yeah,
today.
but I'm saying, but that person in 1812 would be the result of the history that they had lived prior to 1812, just
Yeah,
like I'm the
you're a
result of a person.
slave.
So
You have
I
no
can't give
power.
you no, but you still
You
have
have to accept.
agency.
You have to
You still
accept
have
whatever
agency.
someone whatever tell you to. What
We
agency do
accept
you
you
have?
calling it.
What agency do
So,
you have when
so
you're a
these people
slave?
didn't make up their own minds. These people didn't think for themselves. These people didn't have jokes. These people didn't have love and laughter amongst themselves. They didn't have agency. They didn't
Yeah,
think about, they didn't have their own
and
perspective of looking at the world.
and
I'm
here's
not
the
going to do that to my
difference.
people.
And here's the difference. When your agency is different from another person's agency, right? They can slap the hell out of your agency and say
But
to hell,
I don't live in
nigga,
their
do
world.
whatever
And that's
you
the
want.
thing.
I'm
Just
trying to
like
ask you to
now,
do. Stop it.
just like right now,
Here's what
just
I'm
like right
saying.
now.
Here's what I'm saying. That's this is I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, because you've never
I
been
don't know what to
confronted with this
say.
argument
I don't know
before.
what to say.
You've never been confronted with this argument before because
What?
we just go along with the mainstream. We do. I'm challenging that concept. I challenge it. I don't think nigga is a term of endearment, blah, 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 blah. We've been saying nigga a long time ago. Long time ago, we say nigga. Read a slave narrative. Read one, please. And go and tell me that them niggas was saying something negative about themselves. Read them. When they talk about themselves, the people who had the problem with the nigga thing is the goddamn so-called talented Tim and all that bullshit. Them the niggas that had a problem with the nigga shit.
Because they start getting educated. Now let me say this.
Educated, yes.
Yeah. See, with education, right? You start to clear certain things up. The problem is, yeah. See, hold on. Before you started reading, right, your lens wasn't clear. I can see that your lens is clear about a lot of things because you started reading. You started educating yourself, right? Before you started,
that's not what education is.
Hold on, Cujo. Before you started educating yourself, you had a lot of misconceptions about a lot of things. Am I right or am I wrong?
That's a very broad question. That's a very broad question.
I just want you to answer.
Myself. I never educated myself. I didn't. I'm not self-educated. I was educated in school.
What? So you
saying I was educated in school and my mother? No, I don't consider it. I don't consider when I read books and stuff. I don't think of that.
No, you're just trying to argue, yo. You're just now. I know you're trying to argue. Because I know I done had numerous conversations with you. And I know that a lot of the things that you talk about didn't come from your school education.
No. See, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the information, what I'm talking about, it didn't come from an education. It came from information. It came from me attaining information. That's different. Education comes from the Latin word educare, which means to rear. When I was reared, I was a child. That's when I learned the basics.
So you haven't educated yourself. So you're saying that you haven't educated yourself.
His mind is made up.
Yeah. You're right.
His mind is made up.
No, I don't think it's possible.
It can't.
I mean, it's different, bro.
He's a nigga. If Cujo presents a academic paper in front of Johns Hopkins University, and say you have to do a defense paper in front of everybody, and you say, okay, go ahead, nigga.
Yeah, I'm literally sitting here trying to convince.
What would you say? What would you say?
Look, we live in a world where that's not acceptable. So to ask me,
yes, we live in a world where that is not acceptable. Exactly.
But it's not acceptable because
we live in a world where that is not exactly. That's why it's not absurd. It's absurd.
It's not mine. It's absurd to you.
It is absurd. Because
you believe it.
No, you just said it. You said you live in a world where that it is absolutely absurd for somebody that would just call you that.
It's called contrivance. It's something we've been taught. That doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean it's right. We say things like pretty hair. Is hair really pretty? What makes hair pretty?
Present your doctoral acceptance or defense, nigga.
I would, nigga.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying. That's what. So that's okay. That is okay.
But we know. I'm saying it is used as an insult. I'm not arguing with the fact that it's used as an insult. My argument is that it hasn't always been the case, and we didn't use it to insult each other all the time. We didn't.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
We taking a word. Somebody taught us to dislike the word.
No, right.
And you say that Alex and Tim got educated, and because they didn't want to identify, because what was nigga synonymous with? Nigga was synonymous with slave. And that's the thing we've been trying to distance ourselves from. Because, hey, you can talk all this goddamn shit about Egypt. You can talk all this shit about Nigeria, all this shit about the Yoruba, but can't now nigga tell you nothing about slavery. We don't know nothing about it. We don't know nothing about it.
So let me.
We don't know nothing about it. Because we don't know nothing about that history. We don't want to know that history.
Hold on.
We ignore that.
Hold on. So when there's top scholars sit and tell us that we got our vernacular from white people, so whatever they was calling us, we started to call ourselves. How they treated us, we started to treat each other. You see what I'm saying? So we started doing. Look, we learned how to treat and talk to black people because white people taught us how to treat, what to think about black people. We do this shit automatically. We call each other lazy, right? We say, we look.
I think that's worse.
Hold on. So everything that we do and say about, even the words that we choose to call each other, right?
I agree.
Come from white people who had nothing but contempt from us. And y'all sitting here telling me that it's cool for us to do and for us to talk to each other, right? The way that the people who chose to treat us in that man, basically do what they did to us. So it's good to be violent against, hold on. We're more violent against ourselves than we are against white people. Why? Because the white man chose violence against us, right? To talk to a black person a certain type of way, was the way that white people talked to us, so we talk to ourselves the same way. All of that shit is cool. So when
no matter what the environment,
right? So when you sit here,
no matter what the environment,
right? So when you sit here, Kojo,
all of this in English.
Kojo, no, Kojo. When you sit here and say that somebody, right, is that white people are training us to think about the word negatively, right? It was negative. The way that they treated us, the words that they used on us, all of that shit was negative. You don't turn around and do the same thing. You gotta be crazy. You gotta see that you wrong.
Look,
I'm not going to sleep tonight until you accept that you're wrong.
Well, you're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep. You're going to be up all night with me, nigga. So we're going to talk about it all motherfucking night. Because, nigga, I've been doing this shit for a long time. I thought about it a lot longer than you, apparently. Because it don't matter what they called us. It don't matter.
Does.
They could say black. They could say fruit fly. They could say any goddamn thing. It don't matter what they call it. But tell me this. What does nigga mean? Tell me what it means.
What does nigga mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
It's derogatory for black person.
What? No, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you what it meant. I didn't ask you how it made you feel.
It doesn't have a listen, it doesn't have a standard definition.
It's a slur. It's
right.
It's a slur.
It's obviously uncategorically a derivative of the word Negro. Come on, bro. Come on, when John, like I said, John Roth in 16 motherfucking 19, he described them people as niggas. He did not mean stupid people. He did not mean lazy people. He did not mean ignorant people. He meant black people. And the word, anything associated with us became negative from their perspective. To call somebody black from their perspective is not white. So it is not
Negro. We talking about nigger. We're not Negro. We're not talking about the word Negro. Those are different words.
We cannot.
You just moved the goalpost.
No, I didn't. I said the word.
We talking about nigger. We're talking about nigger. Not Negro.
Okay,
we know what Negro is.
Bro, listen.
We call ourselves Negro.
Oh, bro,
yeah, for sure.
No, we didn't. But the first usage of the word in the American colony, the first usage of the word when referring to black people is Neggar. Niggar. That's the word that was used. It wasn't Negro. It wasn't. Nigger is obviously. You think they just made up a word to down black people?
So we just calling ourselves niggers.
Nigger means black person.
We just call ourselves.
It's the word that we read the slave narrative.
Did we call ourselves niggers?
Yes.
Purposefully.
In Virginia. Yes.
Did we?
Purposefully. Yes. Just like we call ourselves Tom or Kunta or whatever name or man or woman or anything else. It's something that we learn when we learn the language. And that was the word that was used.
All of the words that we use. All of those slang words that we use for black people came from white people. Fucking woofers.
No.
Even black people. Even nigga, black people come from white people.
Nigga, coon. Listen, nigga, coon. All of that shit is the same shit. And ain't nobody gonna sit here and convince me at
clone is
40
not the
years
same, man.
old that nigga is
Well,
just mean
you still
black
a young
person.
man. You still a young man. I'm 46, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You still a young man. You know what I'm saying, nigga? I'm 46. You know, so
we
now I just turned
voluntarily
46 last week.
we're
I
niggas.
just turned 46
No,
last week.
no.
Big up to me and my goddamn birthday, Taurus. But no, I ain't trying to argue, man. I really think this is an important conversation that
It
we have
definitely
because we
is.
need to
No, yeah,
question
for sure,
why. We need
Cujo.
to question. We need to question why we think what we think.
Yeah,
You know, and
because
I'm not just talking about
because this
because it
this is
wasn't.
more important than calling Pepe the Black. This is more important than the Black and Kemet,
But
Yeah.
whatever.
also, yeah, I do. I think it's more important
5,000
than that.
years ago.
I
Let's
do. I
figure out
do.
why
I
we
agree.
calling ourselves
I agree.
Nigga
I agree.
learn.
Negroes and all that,
You
Negroes
know,
and all
I
that
was
kind of stuff.
listening to this shit and I
Sure,
was commenting in the comment section, man. But
this
no,
is a more
when I heard this
pertinent.
comment, hey chef, hey, big up Baltimore. I just
You
heard Steve
laughing,
in
My
chef?
man.
Baltimore.
Chef,
Y'all know that shit. You know what I
chef.
mean? I'm from
Peace
Richmond,
to
nigga.
you.
Y'all know
Peace.
about us, nigga.
Hey, peace. I hear you. You know how to read the meta netter now. So you are
No, I
the
respect the fuck
latest.
out of
You
that.
the latest meta netter
Yeah, I
Scholar.
respect the fuck out of that.
scholar. You're a
I
meta
would
netter
never read
scholar
the Meta
now.
Netta. I will
So
never
so
learn
No,
how.
hey,
Listen,
Smash taught you the
chef,
meta netter.
I will
hey, chef,
until
I
I learn
respect that.
how to
I
speak
respect that because
Spanish fluently.
it's
I
so
would
much
never
deeper.
learn the Meta Netta. That is nuts.
I
Not
can read
not.
and write Arabic. I learned how to read and write Arabic in my Muslim days.
But
You know
see,
what I'm saying? But
that's more
actually, after my
useful.
Muslim days.
He
Arabic is
scored.
more
Push
useful though.
Sosa.
It
Hey,
is. It is.
hey,
I
hey.
learned it. I learned it because what I want to be able to go to Timbuktu and see some of those documents from all of those families who have those those documents written in Arabic, but are in the Arabic script, but it's Wolof or Mandinka language. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
half
I
of it
really want to be a part of
they
it.
can't even decipher a lot of that shit.
Yeah, I know. I want.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I understand that it's it hadn't. But I mean, that was when I sought out to learn Arabic. That was my motivation.
Oh,
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
what's
Because
up.
I want to know stories of our people. On the continent. I want to know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I jumped into that, and that also made me look at the word nigga because when with Arabic, you know what I'm saying, but that's Sudan or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Swadi. You know what I'm saying for a black person. It did become an insult in Arabic after a while, but it wasn't always like that. But just because somebody black became an insult, the same way it
It
did.
is an insult. That is an
It is,
insult.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, it developed. It wasn't something. Man, Arabs won't shit. Arabs won't shit, man. The Arabs won't shit before Islam. You know what I'm saying? You never see any historical mention of Arabs. You know what I'm saying? You see it's some very few scant things, but you see rarely anything. What they were was mercenaries for the Roman Empire. And when I say the Roman Empire, we call it the Byzantine Empire. But they were mercenaries.
Let's get some of the other brothers. Let's
Oh yeah, I'll shut up,
we
man.
have
Big up,
we
chef.
got some
Big
we got
up,
some
my
other
man
brothers
Cujo.
join the
Hey,
panel.
chef.
What up?
Hey, hey, you guys.
Oh,
Glad you
Glockin,
guys
what's
let
up,
me on the show.
Glockin?
Yeah, what's up, buddy? How you been, boss?
I'm struggling. What's going on with you?
Yeah, my question with you is, why you accept black? Well, you was yeah, that was my question. Like, the word black, right? When we start using that in 1960s and was it 50 or 60 or something like that? Like late 50, early 1960 or something like that. And I was wondering, especially person like Nelson, Dr. King, who used the word black
And
for a
Negro.
preacher. Say that again.
He used Negro too.
But he did use Negroes, but he also used black, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, he used black, but I think he used Negro more. But go ahead.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah, I was wondering as a pastor, the word black in the Bible it have a negative connotation to it, and I was wondering why you why was he so I seen a lot of his speech. I heard him using the black. I was just wondering why did he want to call his people black? I mean, what's so
maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like it's just a wrong description to call
What's
herself.
wrong? What's wrong with black?
Well, black to me
Black is the
Popcorn.
most purest color. Black is the most
no, I'm
purest
talking
color
about
in the
the
spectrum.
no, I'm not talking about the image of what we call black. I'm talking about the word itself. It's a
Yeah, the European,
What you talking about? What
the
comes? What is?
European take
Hold on,
on the
hold on,
word.
bro. Hold on, bro. Peace to everybody. You
What's
know,
up,
peace,
Corey?
chef. Peace to the chat. I see pure black in there. Say what up, James Powell. What's up? But so are you talking about what you think of when you hear the word black?
no, yeah. I'm talking about the definition, not so much of the
So what's the
depiction.
definition? The color black is a color. So what's the definition of black? Let's
Well,
pull that up. Go ahead.
yeah, pull that up.
No, you said you know the definition of it. Go ahead. Give me a
No, go ahead,
synopsis. Give me the short a short version of it. Give me your version of it.
Well,
Of the definition.
well, it can it have multiple definitions. It could be
Well, what's the one that's the most offensive to you?
I think bad, evil,
Connotation.
yeah, the connotation of dark skin, like to me, like you say, what's the worst? I say having an evil connotation to it.
Yeah.
Like for us, but you know, like back. Hold
Yeah,
on.
but
Like,
evil and all of
hold on.
that
Let me
is for
say something.
biblical
Hold on.
people. Go ahead,
Like,
though.
yeah, like remember one time we the Flintstone, you know, when they say you have a gay old day, you know, back then, gay was something, you know, happy,
They
joyful,
mean happy. It still mean
and
happy. Fuck them.
now we can't say what.
It still mean happy. That's all I mean.
Yeah, me happy, but it have a it have another definition that
Another connotation.
yeah, another connotation that is worldwide known as a homosexual connotation to it. You know, a homosexual type of. And when we got away,
Yeah, it
if
just
you call
depends on what
somebody
time
gay,
period.
hold on, yeah, if you call somebody gay, you know, saying somebody be ready to fight you and shit like that. It you know, saying it erased the whole meaning of it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I'm saying I'm not saying that I don't like the color. I'm saying the word itself, it's a European word. It's not our word. So
Yeah, you
what they
speak
define,
English. Your
It's a
first
European
language
language.
is a European language. Your first language is. So
well,
every time I hear somebody say, "Well, that's a European thing," or "That's a Euro," it's like,
yeah,
bro,
nothing wrong.
no.
No, I'm not. No. What I'm
Said
saying,
it
boss.
in English.
What I'm saying, boss. I understand exactly what you're saying. We speak
Mm,
English, right? So
right.
we should respect the words that what it was defined as. You know what I'm saying? So black is we shouldn't make our own definition of black. You understand what I'm saying? We got to keep it to the original.
Well. So see what I'm saying? Like even with the word nigga, right? Everybody on this panel, everybody you know, you can look at you can go. Where you from, bro? Where you from?
My people.
What state? Just the state. Just the state. That's it.
I'm in right now. Well, right now. I'm in Jersey, but I'm actually
Okay, you
yeah.
can go from New York. Listen, you can go from New Jersey and you can travel all the way to California, right? You can get off the airplane and find the first brother you see and say, "What's up, my nigga?" Right? But the
Right.
word nigger is a bad thing. If
Exactly.
it depending on the time period and in the context that you use it in, everything comes with context. Nothing is in a vacuum. You know what I'm saying? None of these words or none of these phrases are in a vacuum, right? Everything comes with context. So you can get right off the plane. You ain't never seen this brother before in your life. Get off the plane and say, "What's up, nigga? What's up, my nigga?" You know what I'm saying? But nigga historically has had a bad connotation, right? But what you do is you take the power and you put what you need on the word. Words don't have necessarily. I always get flack for this, even from the pseudo killers. They give me flack for saying this, but words to me don't have meaning really. They just have usages, right? So there's no real meaning to each word, because tomorrow the word could mean something else, and 75 years ago the word meant something different. You know what I mean? So words are just have usages. Don't put so much stock in the word. You know what I mean? Use it the way you can use it. Use it the way that's best used for you in this time period, right? Because in the future, way down the line, the word ain't gonna mean close to the same thing. So that's all I got on that.
So what black mean to you?
Black means a number of things to me. It just depends on what the context is you're talking about. So like when you're talking about me, when you're talking about me, right? When I think of myself as a black man, I think of somebody standing up proud for their family and shit like that, right? A black man, when I hear the word black and black man, it just gives me a sense of pride about myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you redefining that. You can't find it in the dictionary.
Well, the definition has been laid out because of the circumstances that I'm in, right? So a black man is always in my life, has always been the protector, has always been the leader, has always been the breadwinner, right? Has always been the one that's respected and feared. You know what I mean? So that's what a black man has been in my life. Like all the black men in my life, that's what they have been. So that's the situation or the circumstances that I've been in, right? So that's what I see, or that's what I hear as soon as I hear the word black man. It brings me a sense of respect because of the way I was raised.
So what does black cat? What does black cat mean to you? What black cat mean?
A black cat means shit. It could either be a black man, right? Oh, the one black cat. You know what I'm saying? The one real black cat. The one. It mean he darker than the. To me, that would mean he's darker than the rest of it. He be my color, right? Because usually everybody call me black, right? Even my mama, your black ass, that's all she ever said to me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, your black ass this, your black ass that. You know what I mean? But
so what she mean by calling your black ass?
Because my black ass, because I'm blacker than the rest of my family. So everybody always calls me black ass.
A negative? Is that a positive or negative connotation?
No, because my uncle is got red tint to him, right? He got red hair, so everybody call him red. Get your red ass over here, you red ass nigga. Oh, it could be negative, it could be positive. It's just the way, I mean, I don't know. It's a term of endearment because everybody call him red, right? To me, everybody calls me black. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Can I ask the brother a question? Look, you're saying black as if the definition, the English definition that we get out of the dictionary, is a universal truth. That's just their take on the word black. That's the English people. Wait a minute. That's the English people's take on the word black. That's their definition. And we accept it because we grew up in this society. I get that. But what my point is that there are other opinions of the word. Like y'all was talking about the other night, how did the Egyptians look at the word black? The word black to them was richness. No, listen. No, I'm saying from a different perspective. You have the people in Mandinka who the women would paint their palms black to make themselves appear totally dark because that was attraction. That in their culture, it wasn't a negative thing. Amongst the Dinka, they're very dark skinned. They celebrate that. That's a part of their culture. They celebrate how dark you are. That's something that's a good thing to them. But in the culture we came up in, it's not a good thing. So what, like you're saying, the definition, because black means like I grew up a Moor. I was in the Moor Scientific as a child. I grew up in so black means death and all that shit according to science. No, it doesn't. That's why I'm not into that shit now, because it doesn't. It's no black according to science means nothing. No, that's not true.
Hey,
That's just
hey,
the English
but you know what the
perception of the word.
That's not what I'm. That's not
you
even
know
what
what
I'm
the crazy
saying.
part is? Nobody never knew the definition. Nobody cared. Like as you grew up, right? You probably never even gave a fuck or even knew it was a definition until you probably was in your 30s. Most people on this panel probably never had an idea about what the definition of black was until you got in your 30s or until you got so-called conscious or whatever, right? I mean, other than that, like who gives a shit what the definition is how you use it. You know what I'm saying? You might, now that people, like I said, so-called and came into this conscious community, now, we worry about small things like what the word black mean or how we use the word black. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, when white people call us
Hey,
black,
look,
they
I'll
did
give
hate
it.
us and everything.
Let me say so. I'll give
They
it an
did.
example. I'll give an example, and I'll juxtapose to the word nigga, right? And you don't see people fighting to put an end to this word. Boy, if a white person walks up to another black man and calls him a boy, it's offensive, right? But I can say to another black person, "Hey, that's my boy. Hey, where my boy at? Think of my boy right there."
Or son,
And there's no offensive. There's no offensive negative connotation with that, right? And it's just the same, and that's just the same thing as the word nigga. Exact same terminology. But we don't see people fighting in the word boy. And when a white person uses it has the same negative connotation as the word nigga.
Right. That's
And
it.
boy, you know what I'm saying? And boy didn't start off to be that way, but based on who's saying it is how you interpret what the meaning of the term in the context.
It's been normalized in the lexicon. For sure.
White people call us
So
niggas, they mean to
it's
insult.
been normalized.
When white people called us black at one point, it was to insult because to them they were the norm. They were regular. They were God's creation. So you weren't like them. You black. That's an insult to say you're not like them because they look at themselves at the standard as they still do. From their perspective, black is a negative thing. But why should black be a negative thing from a black people's perspective?
But that's the whole point of boy. It's all in perspective.
No, I'm agreeing with you completely, brother. I'm agreeing with you completely.
Yeah, I feel you. I know.
Appreciate the way you articulated it.
Yeah, I feel it. That's what I'm saying. It's
But that's
exact.
something we were taught. We were taught. I'm saying it's not mathematics. It's not like 1 + 1 = nigga is negative. It's not. That's not how it really works in real life. This is something we've been taught. We've been taught to think like that. All of us. All of us. So no one is beyond it. I'm not claiming to have some superior bullshit ass knowledge. This is my observation. This is just what I've learned because when I look at other places, they don't have this negative connotation with black. And actually, for the record, black is not a color. Black is a value or a shade. Black.
Shade, yes.
But the question is it something that we accept or is it something that the broader community accepts?
We accepted it.
Or is it just us?
Even in Africa.
Just we accept it.
Hey,
the only thing that matters is if it's us.
Black people did.
No, we don't. Just like Corey mentioned this earlier. Language does not exist in a vacuum.
Oh, I agree with that.
It doesn't exist in a vacuum.
But it only matters what it means. It only matters what it means when it's reflected by us. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole.
No, I don't agree with that. No.
I mean, you don't put the value on a black person calling you nigga that the same value to a white person calling you nigga, because it's only interpreted by the lens of how you know what I'm saying, by you. You know what I'm saying? Like if a white person said nigga right now on his job, he can get fired. A black person can say nigga on the job all day.
That's why.
It's funny because I say nigga on the job site all day.
That's why I say it doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's different connotations in terms of different circumstances.
Right. So in the connotations, right? If it's not the vacuum, in the connotation of a black person saying a black person, you can't then take that and then equate it to the same thing as a white person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. That's relations. You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, you can't do it like that.
And even around here, like black people, they even call white people niggas. Like, so like we be like, yo, the white nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we talk.
Yeah, Puerto Rican niggas. We say it all the time.
because sometimes nigga
We
don't.
be saying that.
Sometimes this nigga is mean person.
Some
Yeah,
nigga
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
nigga don't even mean nigga.
Yeah,
But all words like, but we do words like that, like bitch. But bitch don't mean female. A
Yeah.
bitch can be
Yeah.
an object. Man, I can't. This
Right.
bitch stuck. Man, I can't move this bitch.
Yeah.
I've been trying to move this bitch all day.
If
You know what I'm
mine is
saying?
a bitch,
But that's how we do
if mine is a
words.
bitch outside, that's how we talk.
Words are sticky, right?
Yeah, I
For
can't
sure.
get this
Yeah.
That
bitch.
means
Man, somebody help me get this bitch open, man.
For sure.
No.
And motherfucker be like, man, it's two Mexican niggas around the corner, man. You know?
So I read a slave narrative, and the
Hey,
woman
Culture, your
described as
microphone,
over.
can you hold on?
Oh
Is it just
yeah,
me or is his microphone crazy to y'all?
It's
But
a little,
it
it's a
might
little weird. It's a little weird.
my bad.
But you know what? These conversations, you get to the root of the conversation, right? This is what I like about the pseudo killers.
My bad.
No, it's no dilly
Is that
dallying.
better?
We get to the root of it, right?
no doubt.
For sure.
Yeah, because because like I was listening and it was like, like he was like, yeah, do you teach a child to say nigga? We're like, nah, because it's like that. We look at that as a mature word. Like, we don't teach our child to say damn or shit or fuck.
Right,
But
right.
once they grown, like my 5-year-old son come and say, hey nigga, I'll be like, oh bro, don't say that shit.
Yeah,
but if my
yeah.
son 20 and he like, man, these niggas around the corner, I'm like, hold on, what them niggas at?
You know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah,
Look,
he's mature enough to use these words. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I read a slave narrative, and the woman was talking. She was talking to her interviewer, and she was like talking about the overseer, and she was like, yeah, because that nigga did that. That nigga he grabbed us, da da da, right? And the interviewer was like, oh, that was a white man, and she's like, oh no, that was a black man. He was like, oh no, that was a white man. That was a white man. But she just was saying nigga in the way we use it, just as a person, like that nigga. She used it like the same way we do. Man, it's this. She's dead now. She died like in the early 90s. I cannot find her shit on YouTube anymore. It's this historian. She's from Virginia, big up Virginia. But she's from Virginia, and she compiled a lot of these slave narratives. And they used to interview her here locally, and she always said nigga when she talked. She said nigga constantly. When she read the slave narrative, they were like, well, you feel that's abusive language? She said, no, that's the language that they used. So that's the language I'm going to use. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, man. I'm listening to this old woman, like this old church going lady, and this is the way she talked. She like, that's the word they use. And so that's the word when I'm talking about it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it because we've been taught not to like it. And she said that this was in the 80s. For real. It ain't about me trying to defend the usage of I'm more offended by N-word.
my
I'm
granddaddy
more
used
offended by
that
N-word than
word
I am by nigga.
liberally.
I'm more
right?
offended by N-word. For real. I'm more offended by N-word.
Well,
Far more
like
offended.
my
N-word offends
stance,
me.
my stance again is that we learned how to talk and treat each other from white people who had nothing but contempt for us. I don't think we treat ourselves, any different than how we seen the white people treating us. You learned how to treat a black person by how white people treat them. You learned what to call them from what the white man called them, right? We imitate white people and how they treat and talk to us. Simple and plain. If we don't want to accept that shit, right? If we want to act like we are the gods of language and thought, and somehow we can make things be with it, then we'll constantly be behind. We'll constantly be the people, right, that get rolled around, right, and everybody uses a derogatory term, right, that was meant against us, right? Everybody can use it in everyday terms, right? The moment we start riding around and hearing regular Americans calling each other kikes, right? Or spicks, right? Then I'll say, you niggas got a point. You niggas got a point. The moment everybody start to use derogatory terms, that was put on other people as a term of endearment now, right? The moment we start doing that, the moment we start, calling Mexicans at any given rate, the moment y'all start talking to white women the way that we refer to black women, right? The moment white singers and stuff. Hold on. The moment we start that white people, right, who is the majority, remember, we a minority, man. Yeah. So the moment white people start referring to their women in music as bitches and hoes, right, and it becomes acceptable, right, then I'll say y'all got a point. But
Chef,
as
look what
long
you're
as that
doing.
shit is directed towards us, and historically those things have been negative, I'ma say y'all niggas tripping. Y'all niggas
Yeah,
are
but you
tripping.
saying as long as white, so if the white folks deem it okay, then you go run with it.
Yeah,
but you don't understand what he's trying to say.
Because
but what I'm saying is that the same way we talk to we talk to white women the same way we talk to black women.
What you mean?
Dude,
No, I'm
right?
saying when they
Pretty
start
much.
hold on. I'm saying all right, let me put it like this. Do y'all agree that the way that we act, right, in the hood and the way that we talk, and those habits that come out of our culture, do y'all agree that those things hold us back in the larger society?
Yeah, you can't act like you act in
When we
the
talking the
neighborhood
hood,
out in the broader society.
the hood, yeah.
Right. So
There's
what I'm saying,
But
there's
niggas, but black folk black folks who even not
one at
black
a
folks who
time.
don't
hear
grow up in
y'all.
the
I can't
hood.
hear y'all. What the
One
fuck
at a
is y'all
time.
doing?
Black folks that don't grow up in the hood call each other niggas with no hood background.
Right.
No, it ain't about being from the hood. It's not. It's not. I
Hey,
mean, everybody
Chef,
black. No, we like
Chef,
2 or 3 generations off the farm. That's what I
Chef.
mean. Y'all acting like this shit is brand new. Yeah, I mean, just because we live in this world right now, this is the only reality that ever existed. Everybody, period, all black people, period, are like no more than 4 generations off the farm. The majority of us are no more than 4 generations off the fucking farm. We can't look at this world that we live in now like this is just it.
Yeah,
This world is
I'm only
changed.
2 generations. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm less than 4. I'm less than 4. I'm only
hey,
2 myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm only 2. I'm only 2 generations. But I'm giving because
okay,
I'm from Virginia. I'm from the South. So yes,
okay,
my
okay.
family did
When these
movement.
words travel overseas, like I was in last year, I traveled to first time travel to East Africa. I went to Tanzania, but we had to stop. I had to stop at Qatar. It's a Arab nation and shit. And Qatar, huh?
Qatar. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Cotter or Cotter. Yeah,
Qatar,
go ahead, bro.
Qatar, whatever the shit is.
Tell the story, bro. Go ahead.
Qatar, whatever. And their airport is beautiful as hell. But anyway, there was young kids like about 5 or 6 Arab guys and females. They're just having fun at the airport. Playing around, horsing around. So they seen me. One of the guys saw me and they was like, "What's up, my nigga?" And their air and the females was in there tapping like, "Yo, don't like." But I guess what he was trying to do is just be cool. I didn't get that type of him being disrespectful or anything like that. But it was just, to me, I still feel like he was out of line. But I'm like, what can I say? I mean, they listen to hip hop, listen to the music. I can't really blame them.
Why would you think he's out of line unless you
I get
thought
the
he was trying
same
to be
thing when I'm
offensive?
in Vegas, right? When I'm in, if you go to Las Vegas, you can get Arabs, right? Hey, nigga. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, what you need to watch with the Arabs
Yeah.
call you. If they call you,
Crazy.
if they call you,
Yeah, the convenience store
that's
Arabs,
what
they
you need
always
to
try to
watch.
think they cool.
Yeah.
Cause you like, I don't
They-
know, you wait like in the
I don't
background.
know
That's why
you.
people keep talking over you because
Oh,
like
what
they
about
can't
that?
hardly hear you. But
I tried to do
my
that.
bad.
I can't do this one. Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
I
Yeah, yeah.
and I get what Chef is trying to say. Church should hold your back, but I just don't. Well, I just don't see how to use the nigga
No, because white people do the same
economic.
thing though. So, listen, white people have trailer park ethics, and then they have broader society ethics. Just like black people got hood ethics, and then they have broader society ethics. You know what I'm saying? Most people try to the most acceptable way of being in this society is like a middle class life. Like it's too much. It's not even acceptable to be a snooty rich type motherfucker, right? For most people, right? People look down on that. Oh, that motherfucker, rich motherfucker. He think his shit don't stink. Whoop de whoop, right? So everybody's trying to be. Everybody has a baseline where we at in the broader society. But when you go home, it's something. It's the ethics are different when you go home. I think that's across the board for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you have a different language you speak. You have a different, way you are amongst your own.
Yeah.
That's definitely the truth. When I was in the service, when I was in the army, I'm living with white boys. You know what I'm saying? And I got might have a white roommate or some shit, and we talk. Because we don't have a choice. We living together.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to be quite honest, like when I talk to them, when we actually talk, like they straight up admit it. Like when you talk about black people, they say nigga all the time. They're like, we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my friend. I got to know the nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we do. He said, when we're amongst each other, we say it all the time. And they do. I mean, it's so wet, man. I'm not worried about how they feel about me. It hurts because it hurts us with employment and shit. I can't deny that. But I can't sit around and think about how white people feel about me. I don't
No,
give
yeah, you can, and then it only matters to you. It only matters to me about the white people. What white people feel about me are the ones that's in my life, right?
Right.
So
Of course.
and then that's only on a case by case basis.
Right.
Like
They
how I feel
individuals.
about it. You know
They
what I'm saying?
people
Yeah.
too. They people too. I got
Yeah.
white people that I know that I've known for quite a few years. You know what I'm saying? I know how to deal with them.
My
You know what I'm
business
saying? And some
partner
of
is
them,
white.
it's a few of them I actually trust, to be quite honest. There's a few.
Right. Yeah, my business is owned 50% by a white person.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they're human beings. I don't live in this world, man. I don't live in this world of the evil white man. That's some other bullshit we talk about. I don't believe in that shit. I think the ideology is evil, but a human being is a human being. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Black people
Well, we don't know that
to
yet. We don't know
aspects of white supremacy as well. You know what I'm saying? Black people, we adhere to aspects of white supremacy as well. We do. And that's why nigga means something negative to us sometimes. That's why black is negative to us. I mean, we can't deny, man. We want to talk about nigga. We need to talk about why the hell we call black is ugly. Why the fuck light-skinned girls are pretty? That's more of a better conversation than the word nigga. A better conversation is what is pretty hair? That's a better conversation because we're dealing with things that we've been taught to believe, and we have. It's not like somebody sat there and taught you. It's just the world we come up in, and we identify with this world as well. Like Chef said, we do identify with white people as authority. We do. We always have, because that's the world we grew up in. We look at it just like they do. We can't act like we grew up in a vacuum. We didn't. We grew up here. Superman looked like Superman to all Americans. You know what I'm saying? Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan to all of us.
Superman was a Jew too.
Cujo. What you
Christopher
think about that?
Reeve
What
was
you
a
think
Jew.
about that reparations?
Nah, the
What you think
character
about that?
Superman was
What you think about that
based upon a
reparations
Jew.
argument?
I think my mother was a part of In Cobra. You know what I'm saying? My mother was in Cobra. I thought their arguments were pretty lacking, even in the 90s. And right now, the way I look at the actual arguments, they're being far too aggressive. You have to learn how to speak the language. You have to speak their language, because when they talk about us, they say things like urban and you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about them, we need to say like things like mainstream. We need to learn how to goddamn get our point across. We have to learn to communicate with these people. You know what I'm
versus
saying? We gotta adjust to the world we live in instead of trying to force our viewpoint on them, because our viewpoint is a skewed viewpoint of theirs. You know, so we gotta learn how to make these types of communications.
Man, I
But
would love, I would love
definitely
for us to drill down into
we
that
definitely
conversation.
have a case for reparations, even if beyond slavery, we will have a case for reparations since 1965. And I was born 11 years later, just to put some context on it. You know what I'm saying? Because we like to look at things in the 60s like it was so long ago. I was born 11 years after the Civil Rights Bill was passed. That's not a
Yeah, it's
very long
crazy.
time. But look at this though. I had no clue growing up. When I grew up, I thought everything was all right because I looked at different strokes, and goddamn, Mr. Drummond was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? So I was taught to think like this. You know, and I'm challenging that perspective.
But
That's all I'm
we
doing.
were,
I'm not trying
but
to argue. I'm not trying to sound stupid. I
yeah,
know it
but
sounds
we
crazy to say nigga is good, but
we
I'm
were
holding on to something. I'm holding on to something that I've seen in my people that predates the way we look at the world now. That's when I say,
Flojo,
look at the slave
Flojo,
narrative. Look how they talked about
Flojo.
each other. Look how they communicated amongst each other. That's all I'm saying.
But they
I'm
was
not saying that.
products of the same shit, though. That's my point.
Yeah, but,
The slave.
brother, that's
Hold
why we
on.
had these conversations, man.
Right, I agree. I agree. So
Big up, Baltimore. Come on
yeah,
now, don't attack me.
definitely. You're definitely saying, you know, those slave narratives, those people on the plantation were taught or just learned from being around white people. You're gonna
Yep.
learn what position the black person belong in. You're gonna learn the names for black people. And you're gonna treat them the same way, damn near, that the largest society show you how to treat that group. You treat white
I would
people,
agree.
you
But
treat white people
you
the
did
way
have
white
people
people
who
showed you how to treat
right.
and think about white people.
But you did have people who were different. You know, you had people who, like Richmond, Virginia, for the record, you know, Gabriel Prosper. You know, you had Gabriel Prosper who stood up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had Gabriel Prosper. And then over there in Spotsylvania County, you had a man named Nat Turner. That's Virginia as well. That
So what
stood up.
happened now? So what happened?
They got killed because they
Okay,
fought
so
against it.
basically what I'm
Exactly.
saying
And
is,
I expected to be
hold
dead
on.
by now. I
What I'm
expected to
saying
be dead
is
by now.
reparations a pipe dream. It's not going to happen because
Oh no, I'm not sitting around waiting on it. But I think
it's
we have
not
a
going to
valid
happen.
case. We have a
We don't
valid
have
case.
no case. They ain't gonna
Yes,
give
we
us no
do.
damn money.
No, I'm not even
I,
talking about slavery. We have a case since the 60s
it
to
does.
say
Yeah,
we have a case where you could point at things like redlining, you could point at all these things, how black neighborhoods were destroyed, and they were. But we need to talk about it in the right language. We need to stop making it
That's
about
the
black
that's the
people.
best case. I always think about redlining.
Yeah, you got to think
Redlining
about that.
is the
That shit
most
destroyed. That shit
significant to me.
destroyed Richmond.
And,
It
yeah,
destroyed
and then
Richmond.
yes, it destroys generation because home ownership is the number one way to build generational wealth in America, right? So yeah, the redlining really fucked us. Like that was the biggest thing to me.
The
Like that
redlining
fucked us. You know
and
what
the
I mean?
You know
war,
they
the
just
war on drugs. The
you know
war on
they
drugs.
just successfully argued to hit a reparations case for Tulsa.
Yeah,
It
Didn't
was
what happened?
successfully argued.
it's happening
Yeah.
now.
So it's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be
was,
hit there.
but that's a specific case. Like you have it with
But
When
I'm
the
you
saying,
say
but
criminal
I'm
it's not
saying
gonna
like,
happen, it's
what I'm
happening.
saying is like they had to fight for that shit, and niggas drop bombs on them niggas. You
Yeah.
understand me?
Yeah, but see, the
And
thing is, you have to make it international. And that's the problem. You have to make it international. Look, the only reason the Civil Rights Bill got passed, it wasn't because they all of a sudden felt bad.
You didn't
You know
think
what I'm saying? They didn't feel bad.
Jim Crow laws weren't
Yeah,
international?
the Jim Crow laws, look at it. The Jim Crow laws begin to fall back in the beginning of World War II because the United States was on a world view, and they couldn't sit around and talk what the Chinese were
right.
doing,
Yeah.
what the Japanese were doing to the Manchurians or to the
Right.
Koreans. You know, they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that.
Right.
So that's when you had these systems begin to come in anyway. It's all to make a good image.
So
The
do you
civil rights
think
movement, they talk about Martin Luther King
do
like
we
that was
have
bad.
do we
He was
do
marching. No, that marching brought this shit
I have a
to
question.
a
International
global
order.
I have a
global
question.
recognition.
Uh,
Go
Do,
ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
do you have a white fountain and a black fountain historically after World War One? or World War II? Do you have
Those are
those
two
existing?
extremely different times.
Do you have those that exist?
After
When?
after
Yeah.
I
World
do.
War II, no.
I'm asking about
Yeah, you did.
Jim
Yeah, you
Crow.
did. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You did. Jim
exactly.
Crow was
So so
still.
so it exists.
Yeah,
It
but no,
still
see,
went
no,
on.
but what I'm saying is
Exactly.
these things didn't just happen overnight. That's what I'm saying. The
Right.
mechanism started to change then. There was a slave in 1942.
Yes, it
The
was.
last slave in America was
We
freed in
have documentation.
1942.
Yeah, he was under debt peonage.
Yeah, he was on, but he was a slave. The
It was
way they could
slavery.
hold
It
him
was definitely
because he
slavery.
was a slave.
Hmm.
And that was in 1942, right before or right after actually they bombed um
Pearl Harbor.
um what's the joke? In Hawaii.
Pearl Harbor.
Hawaii.
Iwo Jima.
Pearl Harbor.
No, Hawaii, Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah, December the
He was
6th,
Jima who
1942.
that?
I went way out there, didn't I?
Yeah,
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 you
you
talking
but
you
about
that's
went
World
you
how
War
they
went
Two?
to
You
the
talking
you
about
went
came.
to the
World War
end
Roll
where
Two?
we
Tide,
bombed
didn't I?
them.
Yeah, you talking about World
Hey,
War
That's
Two,
Roosevelt.
how.
man.
That's how they
But now,
used.
I mean, no, this when this mechanism started to turn because America had to stand up. America had to be to actually do what they said they did, and we're still dealing with that. We're looking at 1945 like it was so long ago. No,
Yeah, but
it
that's
wasn't.
also how they did convict lease because the way to get free labor was to put them in prison. That's why. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
started
So they
trumping up
lock you
these
up for
charters.
anything.
That's where you start getting your sundown laws and you see
Yeah,
what I'm saying. And
they
they would
lock
trump
you
up
up
these
for
charges and they
anything.
lock you up for small shit. They lock you up for
Mhm.
Right.
years.
All
That's what life was
facts.
about.
So
That's what
so
life was
all
about.
these things existed
All those things
after
facts.
Loitering.
Yeah.
after Pearl Harbor, after
No, 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 no,
1942.
no,
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 All these
no.
these
things.
See,
things.
you
That's
missed
the
the point.
point.
No,
1870.
no.
It
It
was.
ended.
Yeah,
It ended right
it was
after Pearl
it was
Harbor.
around 1870. When
No,
these
Pearl Harbor
laws
was
start going.
in 1942. I think.
I
1942. Right.
no listen. In 1870, is when these white people started to get their seats back.
Oh, yeah.
When the Union had pulled out of the South, a lot of these
Yeah,
white
the end of
people,
Reconstruction.
yeah, they went
Yeah.
and took back control, right, and they started to implement
Black code.
all these black codes and these different things that developed into the Jim Crow.
Right.
That was finally stricken down. I think the last one was stricken down in 72 under Johnson. Is
Nixon.
no, I think it was Johnson signed the
Lyndon
last.
B. Johnson. No,
Yeah,
Lyndon B. Johnson was the civil rights dude. So that was in the 60s.
no,
So Nixon was the next one.
no,
In 72, it was Nixon. Or either Gerald Ford.
nah, Gerald.
Oh, we got
72. You
we
said
gotta
62 or
get
70.
true. We gotta
Set,
get NBK in here. The
yeah, I
true
think it was.
story in.
Now,
I think
I
it was
got you, bro. I'm
Johnson
good. Y'all don't trust me, so it's good. Yeah, get
from
him. That's my
68 to
boy. Get Dan.
72. Let's see.
Yeah, because I know Lyndon B came after Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was after Kennedy. That was in the 60s. That's the one who signed the Civil Rights Act, Lyndon B. Johnson. In 1972, Nixon was the president.
I don't remember
Tricky
Nixon.
Dicky.
I don't remember
Yeah,
Nixon.
Nixon. Yeah.
And
Having
then after
anything to do
Nixon,
with
it
no
was
civil rights
Gerald
bill.
Ford.
Yeah,
It definitely
the
was Johnson.
Watergate investigation
Yeah, yeah,
going on.
yeah.
So way later, right?
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
but
it was Nixon. So yeah, it was
nah,
Johnson. It was
that didn't
I think it
the
was a
black codes.
68.
I mean, then they just switched it up. The shit adjusted. It adjusted as time went on. Like you said, after Reconstruction ended, because during Reconstruction you had strides. You had the whole 40 acres and 40 acres thing going on with the 400,000 miles along the from South Carolina to down the Georgia seacoast. I mean, that was a real thing. But when what's his name? After Lincoln got killed and shit, Andrew Johnson. When Johnson was elected, he repealed all that. You know what I'm saying? And in 1870, Reconstruction ended, and all that shit was
Andrew
rescinded.
Johnson.
Federal troops left, so the people in the South who were bitter, they were bitter because they fought in this war and they lost. And who could they blame? They blamed niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Hold
In
on, we
1912.
backpedaling way
No,
back.
I mean, but
So
we
so so
gotta
do,
Hey,
do
understand
we
hey,
the
do
story.
do
We
we
have
just
to
to
need
understand the
do
context
we
that
need
we use.
these reparations or not? Do
I think
are
we
we
need them,
owed
but
these or not?
do I think
We
it's
I
owed
ain't
them.
never
I
say
think
we
Yeah,
ain't
we
we
have
need
a
owed it, but
it.
we
I
ain't
think
gonna
we
get it.
have a legal, honestly, I do think we
Hold
have
on, hold
the
on,
possibility for legal recourse. I don't think it's probable, but I do think it's
hold
possible.
on. Well, we have a few. I guess you would say examples in California where the reparations argument is moving forward. That's why I say That's why I
California is
say
not a real
there's
place.
What?
That's a democratic
so
state.
it's not a real
No, I'm
place.
saying, no, I'm saying
So
it's not
now
a
we
high
talking
black
about
population
California is
in
like
that
a
state.
fairy tale.
No, it's
It's a
not. It's not
fairy
a high
tale.
black
No.
population in that state. I appreciate the strides that they make in
Well,
their
and we
isolated
also,
cities
and I think
like
somebody
Oakland.
just talked about what was it, the Tulsa. There's a reparations
Yeah,
argument
they
that's
got that.
happening today, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
real.
outside. That's in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah,
Tulsa, right? So it's not outside of the yeah.
yeah, that's pretty
This is
different as
happening.
well. Tulsa's not really a
Yeah,
real place to me either.
yeah. Well, this is happening. So it's
Yeah, I
not like
agree.
this is
They'll say
something that
it's
is like
not really a real
that's so
I'm just
far
saying it's
fetched. We're
new.
making
I
it
mean,
up,
for the majority of us, I
right?
mean, yes, that's good for the people in Tulsa. I'm not taking anything away, but that's those people in Tulsa, and that's awesome. That's
Well,
awesome for those people.
we're talking about
Yeah, but
okay.
it
I'm talking about the
starts.
You
masses
have
of
to
us,
you have
though.
to
Yeah,
Don't
but it
have to.
start with
happens. But you know,
yeah,
the dominoes have to fall. Once certain dominoes fall, then
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
awesome. I hope it will.
Yeah.
exactly, Sosa,
I
right?
hope it will.
It's not, you
I hope
know.
it will.
So we're
Hmm.
not talking. We're not talking.
Hey,
About this is
Sheffrin,
something far
Sheffrin,
fetched.
totally off subject, Sheffrin. Over 50% of our listeners are listening from the East Coast of America. So West Coasters, what's up? Y'all ain't feeling the pseudo killers? What's up? That's what I just wanted. I wanted to throw that out there. That was off
I be
subject.
always talking shit again. Nah, I
Sheffrin
mean,
did a survey or whatever. Did y'all do the survey?
yeah, I did, and I
All right.
wrote in. I was from the South because I didn't see that on there.
What
So I
survey?
wrote,
I didn't see it. Was it on YouTube or something?
You gotta be subscribed. You gotta be subscribed
yeah.
to the pseudo killers, brother. You
Damn,
know
I
what
Oh
failed
no,
the
I
test.
ain't.
That's all right. Thanks, Chef. Thanks, Chef.
Sosa just put himself out there, man. That's cold
Yeah.
blooded,
I mean, they try to trick me to subscribe. I'm already in the group. I ain't subscribing.
man.
Oh,
Damn,
Metro
I feel like
customer
I
said he
belong
from
or
the
something.
West.
That was all right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey, look, we need to come up with a topic for tomorrow, but this is definitely a good goddamn show.
Can we get the Indian niggas? Can we go at them, please? I love those guys, man. Please.
Who the Abos?
Yeah, yeah,
Niggas is
yeah.
crazy.
I
Oh
mean,
man,
they
you
both
say
Don't
apples.
say
Abo.
the elbows though.
Them niggas that come
Me
out
and
the
Unc doing
road,
a
bro.
Cosmos. Me and Unc doing a Cosmos show
Yeah, that would be a good one.
tomorrow or
That's a good one.
either Saturday, one of them days.
For
We
sure.
talked earlier, so
Astrophysics, that'll be a good
yeah.
one.
Hey, yo, I had a real hard day today, man. I'm telling you, man. Big up to the conversation, man. That's the shit we need, because the older you get, the less interaction you have with people. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate this. For
That's what's
real.
up. So
I
look,
appreciate
Yeah,
we
it.
but
gonna
I
come
don't know.
up.
This is
Big
Corey,
up
totally
what you
again.
off,
what
Chef. Go
I
ahead.
asked you, Corey, what you guys are gonna be talking about in terms of the cosmos on the show?
Unc is reading a book right now. He just finishing up a book by Hakeem Alusei.
Olujawa.
I always
Abu
mispronounce his last name, but he's a mathematician / astrophysicist, a brother man. Unc finishing up his book, and we was gonna kind of do a short review of his book and kind of go into some new things that's been going on in the astrophysics world. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Diverse. This channel is very diverse.
Yeah.
I don't know
Hey,
why we
hey,
don't do more shows
hey,
according
you
to
heard about
Donald
that
Trump's.
You heard about Kevin dying? Kevin,
Yeah, did they
Did he
confirm
really
it?
die?
yeah, they say he
Kevin
died.
Samuels.
Was that
Samuel.
a rumor or did he die for real?
I didn't
I,
see it confirmed yet.
I didn't see it confirmed
Well,
either.
my man's Psychopatheist, he just did a whole show on that. So if y'all want to go over there, I didn't see it, but
He had a question mark. I peeped that, Corey.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
a question mark. Kevin Samuels dead? Question mark.
The
That was
last
not a
thing
lie.
I read, it said he had a heart problem, but it didn't say he died. That's the last thing I seen.
Because I did look it up before I got on here.
Okay, now I see it now. It started to be confirmed. Yeah. I'm seeing. Yeah, passes away at 56. Yeah.
Damn, that's a young
Is
man.
y'all Godfather gone?
I know,
What
right?
do y'all think about what's y'all know what's going on in America right now? A big issue is the Supreme Court is gonna do away with the Roe v. Wade.
Yeah. Right.
What do y'all think about that?
I heard about that.
Well, I think that
it was a
rolls us
leak. It
back
was a leak of
generations.
some.
Yeah, it hasn't been passed, but they think it will be passed, and that's the.
I wish they would have done it 20 years ago. I would have had 2 kids by now.
They would find a way to get rid of them. They was finding a way to get rid of them before that shit went
Right.
to.
They do it in less humane ways.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. That's the problem.
Then you find babies in the trash can and shit like that.
Yeah,
you know
I mean
it
sounds.
And you make it a more economic situation because the person who can afford it is gonna go to another state.
You're right, they can do it.
Other states can do it, right?
But the poor people can't. I mean, the poor people suffer.
Yeah,
we suffer. I mean, it's a very, it's, like to kill like I wouldn't want any of my children to get aborted, but like if I was fucking some white girl and I got her pregnant, I would have.
You know what I think it is. You know what
no,
I
it's
think
just
it is.
But you had some light
if
skinned
you're in
kids,
the circumstances.
I think it's
I got an issue.
It's a big wedge. I think it's a
it
big
is.
wedge
It is.
issue where you everybody's focus on this.
Yep.
Dude.
I just got an issue
focus
with
on your economics.
But listen, I got an issue with putting a baby on a mother that don't want it. I just think that's
and
a
the
bad
father
recipe.
that don't want it.
All
And
this
the
stuff
father
gonna
Bad
happen.
recipe.
Yeah,
That's a bad recipe.
No matter what the Supreme
can't
Court
handle
gonna do, this is gonna happen anyway. I don't think the Supreme Court ruling is gonna have one deciding one decision one way or the other.
But it's a monumental thing.
Yeah.
It's a monumental thing for them to overturn it, or even to have it come this close. It's really showing the schism that's in this country right now. We don't live in a vacuum. It affects us, whether we think it's legit or not.
It's a big wedge.
Yeah, it cost Atlanta
real.
a lot of businesses because once the governor was accepting to that, because we were starting to get a lot of Hollywood business, and a lot of the people from Hollywood they pulled out based on that. Yeah. So
based on it, that's wow.
But because of abortion?
Yeah, because
because people have
real
alliances. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's the gay network.
It's a political thing.
Hollywood gay. They don't
want
it
ain't about. Don't do that because I ain't gay.
For real.
This start the gay network.
You can't conflate it. You can't conflate it. Let's be.
Really? Wow.
I mean, let's just be approach it, in what we really don't know about it. Just take it at face value for what it is in the discussion. To throw these possibilities in, whether I think it's plausible or not, is really insignificant. Let's just deal with what's said. You know what I'm saying? And I agree, it's kind of fucked up that because of the politics of a particular state, certain people won't do business there. But that's the world we live in. That's what capitalism is. You know what I'm saying? But
it goes to people's morals, and things like that. So if your governor, is taking certain actions, then I don't want my business there, or if
right.
you know what I mean?
Because you're putting money into the state. When you come there and you produce a movie,
revenue.
You're putting money. Yeah, you're building revenue in the state. So that's the power that rich people have.
But like Brendan, Brendan said,
like
Brendan made the biggest point, and the thing is it's like a squirrel to me, right? I call it a squirrel, right? Instead of we focus on the main issues, right? They look over there, it's a squirrel. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the Roe v. Wade, but it's a big economic issue. I
think it's all simultaneous.
There's a bubble that's been burst.
But that Roe v. Wade,
the Bitcoin for us as Black Americans, African Americans, right, is the whole reparations conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get your eye off of that.
Right.
You
Yeah,
you
but
talking about
we ain't
you
gonna
but,
talking
get
but we
there,
about
live in a
homie.
world where there's so
Yeah.
much shit going.
But we
Bro,
In the
got to
midst of
deal
that
with the
shit,
world with
in
the
the
okay.
midst of
knowledge
that
of
shit,
it.
You looking?
But
Yeah,
listen though, in the midst of that shit,
I get
Russia
you. I
attacked
get you.
Ukraine.
Yeah,
Now
for
the
sure,
Yeah.
gas prices jacked up.
for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? It's like they made some shit you could just overlook because them shit start affecting you. You start looking like
Yeah,
nigga, what the hell?
we're
Yeah,
not.
What's
yeah, for
why my
sure.
We
gas so
can't
goddamn
pretend
high?
that we
For
can't make
sure,
everything
for
about
sure.
us. I mean, we
Ukraine,
are
you
still here.
yes, you should. You should
We
make
have to
everything
live.
about you.
No,
Yo,
no.
Everything isn't
To be honest, you know why? You know
everything
why?
else.
You know why
Everything.
that lacks? You know why that lacks substance to me? Because there really is no we amongst us. There really is no body politic amongst us. I mean, we can talk and we sound good ideologically. We sound good, but in reality, there's no actual
I
body
understand.
politic of
I
us.
understand what's going on in Ukraine, but
You know, yeah, but I'm saying
I'm
it affects
focused on
us
politics that's
because if
for
we were to
us.
get nuked by Russia,
I understand
it's
Roe v.
gonna
Wade,
kill
but I'm focused
everybody.
on what's going on for me.
What's going on with you?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's
I'm
bigger than you.
Getting them
this whole
reparations. That's what he
reparations,
talking about.
this
We ain't
reparation
getting no
focus,
damn. Hey, you
right?
guys are not getting reparation. Quit that bullshit, homie.
Well,
Yeah.
you can say that. Keep saying that,
Nah, but I know.
but
No, only reason. Hold on. Let me tell you why.
okay, that's
Let me
okay.
tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because we don't have guns, homie. White people respect people with guns. We don't got none of that shit. We don't got no tank.
Even if we did, we not a we. Who the hell? Where you gonna put
Exactly. That means we ain't
Who are
gonna
we
get
gonna shoot?
nothing.
We're gonna shoot some
We're not
people.
a body politic, which is what I
No,
said.
yeah,
Do
we
you
ain't gonna get
No,
nothing, homie.
you think?
it ain't necessarily about having guns. It's about being able to affect
Yeah,
economics. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
And we
We
To
don't have
affect
don't
that.
have a
trade
body
and
politic.
commerce.
Do
And
you?
We
Corey,
have
we
to
don't have that,
develop a
Corey.
body politic.
Sorry, Corey.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying we do. I'm just
I
saying like
get
that.
it. I get it. Do
That's
you
more.
think?
That makes people move more. Is
Yeah,
being
but
able
we
to
don't have.
affect that. That would be our better chance. The
Yeah,
guns
you can't
wouldn't be the
run up
best
on them
chance.
with
The
guns.
best chance would be to affect trade and commerce. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
that
telling
makes
you,
sense.
I was
But
in the
but
army.
but I want to say
You could take a platoon and could knock out a platoon of like 20 people, 30 people, and knock out any project in America. I don't give a fuck how many guns you got.
So what
Because
that
the
mean?
motherfuckers trained to do it. You train to do it. You train to
Okay,
kill. It's much different from shooting, and you don't run every day. You ain't in shape.
I hear
You
what you're
ain't
saying,
doing
bro.
push-ups. You ain't doing
Yeah,
pull-ups, climbing ropes,
I
getting
ain't
ready to
doing none of
kill
that.
somebody. You just
Nah,
got a
nah.
gun.
Do you think we have to like do
A
a
gun don't mean
complete?
shit.
Do you think we have to do a whole military insurrection to
No,
have some
no, it's not
Yes,
going. We will get destroyed.
to achieve
got
like
destroyed.
you guys think
no,
that we
no.
have to
It's
do
ways
a
to go
whole?
about it though.
Yeah, exactly. It's this is a political movement. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
a
political.
it's
It's
not
Yeah,
a
but
economical.
right. It's
because
not that.
because it is a political movement, we have to have some type of body politic, which means we have to have something that puts us all together,
It's
and that's what
happening
we
We
don't
now.
have.
It's happening now.
we
That's why
don't
we're
have
having
it.
this
So
conversation.
You know,
Why we're
people
having
we
been
this
ain't gonna
saying
have
that
conversation.
since the
yo.
70s.
It's
Yeah,
starting with the pseudo killers, right,
yeah,
Brandon?
people been saying that since the 70s.
We don't
Don't look
And,
at
and, and,
don't look
and,
at yourself as
think
something
we
new. You
you
got to
think
look at yourself as a continuation.
we have to pull up
Seriously.
we got to grab M16s and go in the field to
Oh
get
hell no.
reparations. No.
You'll get fucked
of
up
course
quick.
not.
You get fucked up.
No.
Wait,
So how
wait.
we gonna do this?
We're having these conversations now. This is what these are the conversations.
You know, one thing about
We talking
reparations,
to
which
100
most
million
people
people
don't
now.
understand, and I'm seeing this, reparations would never be. I would never expect reparations. I mean, my expectation of reparations is like a generation from now. So maybe my grandkids or something like that. Like I've never expected to like see that happen. I mean, what I expect is for this generation to start the process, right? But I don't expect for us to see it. You know what I mean?
I think one thing that'll really help if we stop looking at things episodically. You know, we stop looking at things like it was an episode in Dr. King's time. It's an episode now, and then you got
Mm-hmm.
another episode then. No, we are a continuation. We are the same people who came out them fields who wanted their freedom. We are the same people who were freed and let loose like fucking wild animals, but still maintain families. And we exist now because those people, the struggle of those people, we are the continuation of it. We
Yeah,
can't
but
forget that. We can't forget who we are.
here's the
And
thing though.
unfortunately, like, and brother,
Kojo, here's the
okay,
thing. or like Corey was saying, you know, our grandkids, kids, whatever. Those kids will look at reparation as a handout. They won't look at it as our parents' generation or our grandparents' generation. They won't look at it the same way. They
You
won't
know,
have that understanding.
you know
Not
why I
have that
disagree with
understanding.
that? Because the next
No, not
generation
at
is
all.
on you. You make their minds. We children don't make themselves.
Dude,
See,
you
Right.
can hear
that's
what
That's
silly
how
ass
you look
shit.
at it.
they
That's
That's
not
how you
on.
look
that's
at
some
it.
silly ass shit we get
My
from the
nigga,
West.
Yeah,
you
that's how
Children
you
don't
ask
look
make
at
any
it.
themselves.
go to any kids. Go to any kids right now,
Those
man.
kids are man, dude. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old,
And
and
they know
children
about
are dumb as
reparation,
shit.
homie.
And I got
And
a
they know about
24-year-old
reparation.
son. Children are dumb.
I ain't
Children
say they're
don't know
dumb.
shit.
I'm
I was
just
dumb
saying,
when I was a child. I ain't looking at no child
And
to
you know
tell
what?
me
I don't
shit.
care how they look at it.
Yeah, it don't
Why
matter how
why
they
why
look
should
at
I
it.
care
You
how they
tell them
look
how
at
to
it?
look at it.
But I'm
Exactly.
gonna
I
I
don't
teach
say
care
them.
how
I
the
tell
other
my
kids
I'm
look
tell
at it.
my
gonna teach
son how to
them.
look
Here
at
is
shit.
I'm gonna teach them.
here's your allotment of what happened in terms of what's allotted from your ancestors that
yo,
happened. I
you
don't
know
care
this.
how they look at it.
Right, like
Hey,
you
you
don't
know
see
what?
white, you don't see the white you turn down money because I'm a turn down as a heritage. This is a goddamn handout.
Yeah, I don't want no inheritance. I ain't earned that.
First,
It's a handout. It's
Yeah,
a
oh,
handout.
oh,
Wait a
oh.
minute. Fuck that. Oh, we struck oil
Yeah,
in Texas in 1836. Oh, fuck that. I didn't earn it. I don't
exactly.
want that. Fuck that. No,
Dude,
we
you
have to.
got
We are responsible for the way our children look at the world. We can't
Yes.
let the world tell them how to look at it. We're
Yep.
responsible.
Corey. What
Like
I'm
I
saying
am
is,
who I am because nigga, my mama put me. My mama was the one who
I
got into this
understand that.
not eating pork shit. You know what I'm saying? I grew up like that. I grew up not eating pork. I grew up, nigga.
And
I
you know
was
what? A
in the
lot of
third
is that
grade.
a lot
We
of that
still
is
did
that
May Day.
shaming. You know, a lot of it is that shaming. You okay? It's a shaming that
Yeah,
we
that's white
should
folk. Yeah,
we shouldn't think that
yeah.
we're
But
old or that you know this
That's
whole
what I'm
issue in terms
saying.
of
They're gonna
reparation
feel
yeah,
that. They're gonna
that
feel that
that was
way.
a
Yeah,
that
we're
was
a
yeah,
no
because
no
continuation. No,
you
because my
we're not
kids,
the next episode.
no
I'm not
We're a
talking about your kids.
continuation. We're to
I'm
be
talking about the
continued.
other kids.
We're
yeah,
The
my
always to
other
be
kids have
continued.
the illusion that they have choices, right? That I give them the illusion that they making
Yeah,
choices, but they only do what the hell I tell them to do, and that's it. They think the
I,
way I tell them to think. You know
yeah.
that's the way my kids think. They only think the way I taught them to think. They
that's
have the
true.
illusion of thinking that they have their own way of thinking, but they
The
only
same
do shit the
illusion
way that
that
I say is that I deemed correct for them to do. You know what I'm saying? The way they even the process, they thought processes and shit. They feel
Corey,
like they doing that on their own, but it's all me. I made sure I guided their thought processes and everything. You know
yeah,
what I
for
Corey,
mean?
sure for sure.
I
Corey.
got totally indoctrinated by my parents.
Yo,
Mm-hmm.
um, let me tell you something. Not I may be drifting off a little, but I remember when Black History Month came, right? Even when Martin Luther King Day was uh, um on Martin Luther King Day, I went to several black, in the place I'm at, it's a whole bunch of black folks, right? Not once did I hear a black person say Happy Martin Luther King Day to me, or Happy Black History Month, right?
I'm
Uh,
sorry about that, bro. I'm sorry about that.
I know it hurt my heart, man, because I'm in Jersey. I'm going. no one. I'm like,
I'm
damn.
confused because I never really expected that. But go on, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
What
but
I'm
we,
saying, no, what I'm
because
saying
we
is
feel
we
so
don't
far
have
removed
Hold on.
from
Let
it.
him finish the story. Let him finish the story. Let him finish
no,
the story. Go ahead.
what I'm trying to drive at, right? That we don't have. I don't think we have. Maybe we don't have pride in. It's like we embarrassed unless white people offended. Oh, we want to jump on. Oh, why are you offending Black History Month? No, that's our. But when we talk, we don't. I didn't get that type of friendly. Hey, happy Martin Luther King. Hey, happy this and that. Happy Black History Month. So what I'm saying is, our generation kids, the kids, they not gonna be interested in these type of things that we are interested in, my dude. They ain't gonna.
I think that's a case by case basis because, like, my neighborhood, my kids, they did a big thing. We have an actual community center. It's called the Martin Luther King
Where you at?
Center, and I'm in Indiana, right? But
Okay,
I'm in Northwest Indiana. Yeah, I'm closer to Chicago than anything.
Oh.
But yeah, so we had since I've been a kid, Martin Luther King, Black History, that's just been a thing, for my community. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like even the white people, like, cause my community, my neighborhood actually is a mixed neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always been a big thing. We got they do a parade and shit downtown. But I live in like a medium city. It's only like 200,000 people here. So it ain't like I live in a big city or nothing like that.
Right. I do a case study because I was in Michigan. I was in Michigan. I was in Columbus, Ohio, and I was I'm residing in New Jersey. I didn't really do a case study in my family in Houston right now. I didn't really pay attention to that, but I started doing it when I was in Columbus, Michigan, and Trenton, New Jersey.
I know in Michigan is big. Black History.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's
man,
new.
It's not like that.
It's new though. Look, listen, brother. It's new. Things take a while.
What do you mean it's new?
If you want to, no, it
What's
is new. I remember when it started. I remember when Martin Luther King Day became a holiday. I remember because in Virginia we called it Lee Jackson King Day for like 10 years before it just was Martin Luther King Day. We called it Robert E. Lee Day and Stonewall Jackson Day. And
so you're talking about in the 80s, right? That was in
the 80s.
I'm
talking about in the 80s. I remember when we first got out of school for it. You know what I'm saying? It was
when it became internationally recognized.
It takes time for traditions to develop. It's not going to be automatic. People don't just act like that. No generation is just going to act like that. And then to be quite honest, a lot of Black people learn to look down upon Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Because we felt that he kowtowed for them people. But we only got the media version of Martin Luther King. We didn't research who Martin Luther King was. A lot of us to actually celebrate what this man did. A lot of us don't recognize the sacrifice he made. It was bigger than us getting voting rights. This man fucking died, man. He believed in what he believed in. Because I grew up on that Malcolm X. I grew up a Muslim, so I grew up on the Malcolm X lane. But as I got older, I see the sacrifice that this man made. I see a sacrifice of what he believed in. He believed in this shit. But we don't look at the history like that. We have to learn. It's not going to be automatic. You're not going to just Martin Luther King Day and we're going to just go and have a party. We have
listen, the minute is Martin Luther King Day, right? You already won. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's not even a goal for our children to even, you know what I'm saying? Now, so there they go to celebrate, and that's cool if they say have Martin Luther King Day, but really, that's when you won. Like in Atlanta, right? Since Barack Obama been president, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's I've seen at least 3 Barack Obama elementary schools, brand new. Just seen a Michelle Obama elementary school STEM. You understand? Like,
what's up, y'all? Y'all go over to the new stream. I started a new stream. They still over there having a conversation. If y'all want to finish the conversation over there, go on over there. The new stream is up now. I just wanted to end this show because it's been going too long. So let's get it. Appreciate y'all. We doing it again tomorrow. We're gonna piggyback off of the topics that we was talking about today. Go over to the new stream. That's up now. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, and we out. New stream up now. Go over there. Get out of here.
Take y'all on a journey. Notorious is glorious, victorious. Yeah, yo. I ain't asking for a friend. I need to know myself. And if you never
Peace.